who show up at any time, as you mentioned, the Spectre Han, and even the Monkey King, where you never quite know what he's up to in the trees. So Vici called for the pause, but looks like we're ready to go. We get back into it with Vici Gaming looking to reset now. So interestingly, are running aggressive on the Venge, and something you don't really know with a lot of the teams that run this hero is will it be a support, will it be a carry, as they have also run FY on it in the support role, but is playing that safe lane Venge, and generally we do see players on that the carry Venge getting quite active in like the early to mid game once they get their 7 to 9 or so and really start looking for ganks, solo pushing towers if they're left undefended. So I'm interested to see where aggressive looks to move.
At the start of the game. The ward almost dead now, but that definitely impacts Demon's levels a lot. He's not even level 3 right now.
Yeah,
and that's all because less resources in the jungle.
You can see FY really trying to harass and bully Dubu a bit here, keep him out of the lane as much as possible. So he's trying to leech experience in this bottom lane, but decides not the safest place to be. Instead, he's going to rotate towards top. Now hunting RTK, who is level 3. So still killable at this stage of the game. Running out of mana as well, but leeching that experience, going to be a bit of a nuisance. And all the while, relatively quiet laning stage aside from that. Most supports just trying to get their levels. RTK run to Demon here, a little thwack, but not too much threat of a kill just yet.
Yeah, the levels are definitely the biggest impact right now, but it seems like both teams are pretty similar. I guess Nature's Prophet looking to have a decent advantage. Almost level 5 here, Abaddon's about a level behind that. But the supports as a whole, very equivalent levels right now. So it looks like both teams will get their 60s at the same time. We'll see if that impacts, if DC can get an advantage with theirs.
Yeah, and often when we do see the safe lane Spectre, like it used to be the old way to play Spectre was hyper passive, but I want to say like for the last year or so, it's as soon as you hit 6, you're looking for that haunt gank. And sometimes the team will even smoke, TP to try and set it up right away. And speaking of which, Mason, very close to level 6 now, has the phase boot, so he is a real threat for a potential early rotation.
Yeah, absolutely, but I think it's going to have to be Dubu if I look at it. I mean, Ember can definitely rotate as well. That's a great hero that can gank side lanes and stuff, but Demon's only level 3. Maybe Prophet can initiate, but that's not very safe either. So I think it may take another stronger hero with some more disable, like Monkey King getting maybe level 4 with level 3, something like that. He actually does pick up a smoke right now. He's going to grab Ovid, so that's going to be the target here. 6 on Ember. Dubu's level 2, but that's good enough. And they're going to rotate, probably going for aggressive, I'm guessing. Maybe Freeze. His mana's actually kind of low.
Dusa looking surprisingly killable here, at least for the time being, but the line is drawn towards the south. So Abed, Dubu striking a course for this bottom lane.
They got to get here really fast though, because the middle lane's empty. No Ember Spirit.
Simultaneously, Vici Gaming also on a gank of their own, as we can see RTK and Aggressive looking to move in top of the Fenrir Bash to start things off. They're going to slow him down into a swap. Aggressive making his move, finds the stun, follow-up is there. Mason low, but is able to path his way through the trees over to the other side. He's going to make it out. Meanwhile, FY sitting back, but is it far back enough? Right into the trees, has to pull off his own magic to get away, but Ember's there looking for the catch. Abed doesn't get the chains he was hoping for, and with that, FY also going to TP out. A great escape by both heroes in their respective safe lanes, and now rotation coming in. RTK going to try to hold this tower bottom.
The Prophet ulti came in, but it was a little bit too slow. Too many creeps on the map. And it's not a bad kill if they can get it.
He sees 3 bottom. He's like, this is a safe lane to farm, but Mason says it is not safe for RTK. Get the hell out of here. Phase boot's cooling down. Does not have the mana here for the shield, and Mason with one more swipe is going to get the kill. So an early kill to the Spectre, and should be able to go back to farming, though he is a bit low on HP right now.
That was a little close. There's a chance that would have taken 2 hits, but they do clean it up 1 for 1, and maybe things go static. DC's actually hanging out though. Abed's still down here, putting down a safety remnant, thinking about cutting the creep wave. This is one really good way to actually reduce what Freeze can do, since he just walked all the way here.
That is a value shrine that DC are getting right now. As 3 heroes who needed it, all gonna top themselves off. And Mason, quick TP back, so especially with the introduction of shrines, I guess that is one of the big benefits to Spectre. It generally doesn't have too much regen in the early game, but this allows him to stay on the field as much as possible and keep his farming up after a haunt gank.
That's a great point, absolutely. Spectre did a great job surviving as well. Being it back so early. Ooh, big courier snipe here for Prophet. That's a lot of gold in the early game.
The great Bulbino off to a good start here for DC. Has the phase boots, picked up the bracer. Could well be seeing the early drums from him. As he's going to start farming the enemy wood, so looking to play the economy game simultaneously. Fenrir stalking Dubu and Mason. Dubu's still only level 2. He's going to just now get 3, but It's being
That's fine.
stalked a bit. No real threat of a gank here, though, in the top lane. And, you know, with the... I guess that is the question for me, Kevin, is it feels like it's basically on the Venge to make plays because there isn't a whole lot of gank potential for most of the other Vici heroes.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Usually, I was just going to comment, it's weird that Venge is still top lane. Like, normally you gank it, you get out, you escape, but he's actually playing off lane right now, more or less, trying to contest the Spectre a little bit, have the threat of the gank there, and at least Mason does have to be a little worried about getting swapped. But with Venge's mana pool, there's actually not that much threat of him dying right now, so this is just going to hurt his overall net worth, even if it did put some tower pressure on.
And of course, Freeze is still getting this farm, but still a fairly passive presence in this game as he tops the CS charts by a slight margin. So, curious to see if Vici look to group up anytime soon. Level 5 on FY, so I imagine waiting for the Supernova. Should have it probably in the next minute and a half or so if all goes well. And could potentially look for a group up then, but I mean, that's the beauty of the DC lineup, right? They have great split push with the Prophet, the Ember, so if they don't want to take that fight, they really don't have to. Yeah,
I think DC is way ahead in this way. Demon on the Warlock just hit 6 here. He's walking towards his base. I'm pretty sure he's going to group up with an ally, most likely. Yeah, they're TPing the ball lane. This is where the smoke's coming. So DC's tempo is going to be a little bit ahead of where VG Gaming is. Because Phoenix, I don't think he's going to hit 6 in time. He's only 5.5 right now. This is the hero to kill. If they can kill him, quite possibly take the tower afterwards. Yeah,
moving on to FY. FY going to dive away. Now the bash coming onto Bulba. Fenrir might end up getting paused. The Nature's Wrath bounces through. Fenrir will be the sacrificial lamb. Boundless Strike to secure that kill. With that, DC going to start muscling up on this bottom tower. They did force the freeze rotation. Not an easy takedown, but at the same time does not want to try to hold this tower by himself. So he rotates, doesn't get much done, misses out on some farming time, and the Phoenix gets forced away as well. So a pretty big win for DC. Even though it's only 1 kill in a support, they get a lot more farm value out of it.
Very early for Bulba to go in there. I thought that he made a big mistake, but thinking about it now, they didn't have that much catch potential on the Phoenix. I think he just wanted him out of the lane, so he delays his 6 even farther. He does pick up the experience tome now, so now he's got it, but DC's already gotten a tower advantage without using Haunt. That only costs him the hero rotation and the Prophet ulti. That's almost nothing.
Yeah, DC playing, I think you used the perfect word for it, very up-tempo. They already have the phase boots earn on Mason. He's certainly combat ready. Bulba with phase, drum, and now going back for the Midas. So also a hero that can get very active in these early engagements. The Warlock ult has come online for Demon. And as they see a bit of a slow level 6 for RTK, only just now got it, still trying to farm his Midas. Phoenix just getting level 6 as well. They know they can try and take these early fights, apply pressure, take advantage of Vici, who just want to farm that Zeus in the late game. But now the jump comes in onto Aggressive. Great catch there by Abed. The swap out says, take my friend instead. Aggressive continuing to run, continuing to try and get away, but the rockets drop. Demon doing good work, not finding the kills just yet as RTK strikes first, bringing down Dubu. Demon retaliating with the FY grab, and Aggressive still trying to hunt Mason, but another dagger. Looks like he might escape. Then Abed comes back in. What a great bait by Mason. They will find an additional kill here. Looking still for RTK. Not going to get that one, but they find 2. They get the tower.
Dude, what an amazing fight there for them. They pressured the lane, they used all their ultimates, but the important thing was they eventually killed that Vengeful Spirit. She was actually so tanky with the early hood and the Abaddon backing her up, but not only that, but that's a down. The Supernova's gone now for 70 seconds. They're instantly going to go to the bot lane, bringing all their full HP heroes, most likely, possibly take another tower. They have huge tower advantage right now. Like you said, Mason is still farming his Radiance. He hasn't made a ton of progress in that engagement, but the kills are huge.
Yeah, Mason coming to a lot of fights, but still when you look at net worth, only, what, 200 down on the Venge, who obviously is going to have a stronger laning presence and very much similar to his own Ember. So overall in fine shape, as long as you're keeping the enemy team down, that's really all you care about as a Spectre. Yep. You'll get to late game eventually. So, for Vici, now RTK in a bit of trouble here. He's going to get jumped by Dubu, but the ult gets procced. RTK able to get away for now. The Magic Missile going to follow an Ember Spirit. Eventually stuns him, but a bit too late to find the kill. So now going with the Sun Ray onto Dubu. Can he finish him off? Doesn't quite look like it. Even able to heal him up with the Shadow Word, and he will slink away. So DC again, heavy pressure. Are forced out of the jungle, but no kills forthcoming for Vici.
Yeah, the fact that they could just keep the Warlock in the safe lane, get a lot of pulls done, faster level 6 on him, really helped in a lot of ways. Even though the Monkey King was only 3, he still feels useful. Obviously, Monkey King ultimate, amazing, but Dubu, without being 6 here, still feels like he's contributing to the game, so it's even harder for VG Gaming to get stuff done. Like you said, it's Vengeful Spirit that has to set movements and make things happen.
Yeah, and who do you want to initiate on here? Demon sitting quite far back, Monkey King not visible, and Ember generally not an easy hero to catch and attempt to pick off. Very little lockdown for the Ember when you really look at it.
They're thinking about holding this, but they don't have Warlock going. They'll go for the 9.
Abed, good effort, but now gets swamped, aggressive. Able to follow that one up. Again, it's a swap into maybe like a tree bash, but that's really stretching it. DC will retaliate in the top lane, some pressure, but RTK there to defend it, so taking down that tier 1 mid. Pretty nice grab for Vici, but at the very least, DC still farming all the while. Spectre hits 2,600 gold. Now the leader in net worth, Mason is, so all things considered, I think DC pretty damn happy with this first 15 minutes.
Yeah, they really should be. I mean, as soon as they get Radiance up, I feel like a lot of their team fight issues might be solved. Many are getting ganked up.
Fenrir is going to get caught. The smoke was broken, but it didn't seem to matter as Hobie quickly bursts down. DC converging, finding the kills. They now have a BOT pick up for Abed, so the mobility ramps up. The Midas also snagged for Bulba, so.
Man, that's so good. He can TP to the Treants as well, so pretty much all of their heroes can be global. This is a global strat.
Except that poor Warlock. He's just like...
He's got legs, man.
Yeah. At least he's got a few to work with.
Somebody's got to carry the wards, okay?
Late game BOTs.
That's true. It's a possibility. You never know. But once they pick up the Radiance, though, any tree armor just burn through almost instantly. The mischance for all of these right-click heroes, I mean, it's basically what? Medusa right-clicking, Venge right-clicking with some spell stuff. The Vici Gaming lineup is not looking so hot here. Like, and Medusa's going to have terrible space to farm as well. She can't just sit in the mid lane, keep killing creeps, and be fairly defensible in that position. Now she has to hit up jungles, places like that. Just not as fast and not as safe.
And definitely not safe with that tower falling bottom and the invasion play from DC. Not only do they get the kill, but more importantly, look at these wards, Kevin. Some great vision over wherever the Dusa might farm, any supports who are looking for their levels, and definitely a lineup that we talked about with their mobility. Can easily punish any hero farming on their own. So I kind of like the way Vici are farming, where they're not just on their own. You see 4 heroes in a pretty small neck of the woods, all slightly closer together, but still, yeah, it's a little scary. Whereas DC feel very free to spread the map. You've just got Abed on his own bottom lane, mid being farmed by Bulba, 3 off towards top, so they are much less afraid of any potential ganks or aggressive movements.
Yeah, it's very smart for them to sit by Mason right now. If he's about to get his relic, it's a very likely ganking time for their opponents.
Oh, big jump in there by the Ember. He's going to force out a Phoenix Egg and then Zepaniduda, Ahmed, so see you later. So forces out a huge ultimate. Doesn't really cost him a whole lot, just a bit of mana.
So basically now all Phoenix can do is reduce attack speed and do magic damage.
Uh-oh. They did find Dubu here. Atis tree. Monkey trying to be cute, trying to be clever. As RTK looks to chase him down, they'll get the follow-up bash and the stun. So kill secured. They, at long last, get something going.
That's definitely a good kill, but it's not the same as the enemy team. Almost every single time that DC's been getting a kill, it's a support or a hero right next to a tower. So you think they're only dead 20 seconds, it gives them a couple seconds to pressure a tower, forces another person from VG.J to respond. Like, they just lost a hero and Bulba's still hitting his build, just because of the way Abed and him are playing down here.
Speaking of Abed, he was having a look here for FY. He's going to force him to Icarus dive away now. Basically out of the fight, though. Freeze doing a good job of forcing Abed back. Fenrir waiting, trying to catch him out, but not quite able to swing that slow paw of his. So he will make it away, but still, again, pressure, space created, all of it for the Spectre. Now picked up the Relic, and the Radiance, I imagine, coming relatively soon.
That's why this VOTs on Ember is so good this game, because they have weak disable. He can basically just show up, and maybe Dubu will die here, but he can just show up, mess around with them a little bit, make them back up, make them rotate heroes over, TP back to base. He can do that every, what, 45 seconds right now? And he's not even at a big threat right-click wise.
Yeah, and you have basically the same thing with the Prophet. Speaking of which, gonna find RTK, he'll TP out. As it seems he is also going to be going for that Radiance build, but his timing pretty slow as bottom lane, a big team fight breaks out. Overgrowth, as well as the Warlock ultimate committed here. They're going to see Fenrir going down nice and early. Now Freeze is going to try to keep the fight alive with the Stone Gaze, but ends up having to just disengage. DC forcing him out of the jungle. Mason getting involved again, and now only about 500 gold away or so from picking up the Radiance as we see top lane aggressive with the swap on Bulba. Does he have anything to follow this up with, though? Just auto attacks for the time being. No mana for a stun. is again throwing out the Wave of Terror, but Bulba, no TP available, now going to go for it. Doesn't quite have the mana. Aggressive. It's close, but no cigar.
Yeah. Bulba's really farmed right now. His items are great. Working his way towards the Orchid, built the Midas after Drum, as is pretty standard right now in Prophets, and a lot of Midases actually being built this game. I did like that Abaddon at least got his before his mana boots or whatever other boot option he wanted to grab. Usually phase, I guess, but just helps accelerate him a little bit faster. But the rest of the team isn't fully committing that same kind of style. Vengeful Spirit, not to get Midases here.
FY looking for a potential, at least, harassment here on Mason, but Duba's going to retaliate as he will help secure Mason's retreat. Radiance now online. Haunt pulling down in a minute, and Vici finally going to make what feels like really their first offensive move since that 0-minute smoke to try and secure a bounty rune. As they head into the Roach pit, they will do this while Haunt's on cooldown. They also know that the Golem is out of the picture for quite some time, but that doesn't mean Abed can't threaten to go in, try and snatch that Aegis. Remnant drop. Dubu looking for the setup here with the Boundless Drake and RTK dropping dangerously low. They might be able to just force out this borrowed time and then really stick around in the Roach pit is extremely dangerous. We are going to see Demon trying to set things up. Boundless Strike comes through. Roach not low enough just yet, and Abed getting forced back. So with that damage he's taken, has to be careful. He's going to TP home, the BOT back in, still DC, sticking around, threatening to go in.
They got 20 seconds.
Moving forward, they need a little more time for these ults. Abed's going to jump into the pit.
Oh, no.
The Aegis snatched by Aggressive. The last hit, though, does go the way of the Dire, but he pays for it with his life. Vengeance as Fenrir will take Abed down, and now the chase forward looking for the Bulba kill. No mana on Aggressive as of yet, no stick charges either, but they don't need it. They're just able to muscle him down with auto attacks and the power of the sun. FY unleashing the Ray, a big fight for Vici.
Yeah, there's about a 1,500 gold swing, but with that said, by killing Roche, your team gets like 1K across the board already, so I'm not 100% sure that's worth it. And they're only dead for about 30 seconds or pretty early into the game, so a small victory. But still having the Aegis is definitely something that VG.J can try to exploit, especially because Venge almost has his Shadow Blade here. This is going to be an item, normally you see a Midas here, but with the Shadow Blade, he can actually try to put some tempo and pressure on the map.
I guess the one downside is you'd probably rather have the Aegis on Freeze, right? So kind of being forced to just whoever can pick it up in the heat of the moment.
Actually, no, I don't agree with that. If there's no mana drain, I think Freeze is a really hard kill right now. Whereas if Venge wants to get aggressive on the map with a Shadow Blade, he's going to put himself in a dangerous position, really, where he could be punished. That's where the Aegis is going to pay off. All
right, let's see if he can take advantage of it. Moving in, under cover of Shadow Blade, he's going to scout out Demon here in reserve. Quickly gets jumped on. Fenrir combining, they'll find the early kill, and that's a great way to start the fight for Vici Gaming. Now the Phoenix egg committed is Aggressive chasing for those follow-up kills. Not able to find anyone just yet. Something underwhelming. Kaboom is the Boundless Strike and Aggressive combining there with the Sprout, but they're committing a lot just for the Aegis. We'll finally pop it. Is there any sort of response here? Overgrowth is pulling down, but they don't have the egg to combo with it, and Aggressive gets trapped. Has to swap himself away. RTK there, trying to protect him as best he can, throwing out the shields. The heals. Now the Ray comes. FY from the back doing what he can, but it's simply not enough. He has to dive away too. And it looks like in the end they will be forced to retreat, losing 3, losing the Aegis, and now looking for more. They're going to get FY on the back lines. It's Bulba to the rescue. Another big pick for him.
Great DB by him to clean up the rest of the team. That's a guaranteed tier 2. There's creeps at the mid tower as well, so this pressure is not going to stop. And all of that advantage that Vici Gaming got was pretty much erased instantly. And that was still with killing Warlock at the start of the fight. No Golem, no Shadow Word, no Fatal Bonds. The Haunt with Radiance at this time in the game was just so hard to deal with. They were forced to use the egg almost instantly, and as a result, didn't have it a couple seconds later when they really needed it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that team fight on paper, and it's pretty dirty. Overgrowth into a Stone Gaze with the egg about to explode over your team, but in practice, FY struggling to find good egg opportunities, so maybe we'll see a defensive item pickup. Perhaps he can, you know, they can try and take a fight while the Haunt's on cooldown, but you know, the egg doesn't exactly have a short cooldown either. It's only going to be up 20 seconds before the Haunt, so barring a Haunt used offensively on its own, it's not going to be too easy to find those clean windows for a team fight.
And as Spectre grabs more and more items, it's going to be things like agility items, attack speed items with some HP. He's going to be able to just jump on the egg right away, pretty much. No matter where the egg is, as long as he's not busy somewhere else and he's got Haunt ready, that egg's going to have a hard time cracking open.
VG Gaming now making a move towards mid. They're going to scout on Abed with the Shadow Blade. Let's see if he could maybe lead with the stun and just muscle him down with physical damage. out of Invis, but already jumping away, so Abed wise that there could be a potential gank as he finds himself well on his way to Shiva's guard now. So outside DC, everyone performing reasonably well as they're going to make their move. RTK caught out the top side of the map. Dubu going to pounce in. Still holding the boundless strike here. The ult being committed. Dropping low. He has at least bought the relic, but he's so close to the full Radiance. Doesn't look like he's going to get it as they converge as the borrow time ends. Hitting him with another round of attacks. Boundless strike finally dropped. They get the kill. Now Vici Gaming forced to defend this tower without what could be a key weapon in their upcoming fight. So no Radiance now. Still for 500 gold as Bulba makes a big dive in. Can they punish this? They get the silence off on FY. No egg for you, sir, he says, killing him off quickly. And now on to Fenrir. Can they bring down the Tramp Protector low, being hounded by the Golem? Not just had aggressive looking for the turnaround, though. They will end up finding 3, turning this fight on its head, and they do it without the Phoenix Egg required at all, with Bulba already dead. So basically, it felt like a 3v5, and they still get 3 kills of their own. Yeah,
the initiation was actually great for VG.J there. The Venge was in perfect position. He got to start the fight by stunning the Ember Spirit, and they got to follow it up with an Overgrowth a bit later as well. Guaranteeing that kill made everything so much easier for VG.J. There was no huge damage dealer other than the AoE Radiance burn kind of thing. Spectre's just not quite ready to jump in and kill everybody. He needs to play around somebody else, taking some pressure off him. And Monkey King's not ready for that. The Golem can't do it for too long. And Ember Spirit getting locked down and killed. That just did way too much.
Yeah, maybe not respecting just how good Vici's team fight is. That, you know, even if Phoenix is out of the picture, the follow-up potential of the Overgrowth into the Stone Gaze, still something to be feared. As I see them slow down a little bit more. So Freeze now on his way to a Hurricane Pike continues to quietly continue to be the lead farmer here in terms of CS anyway, as RTK has finally picked up his Radiance, should be coming out momentarily. So Vici Gaming about to hit that next power spike, Kevin, and as we hit the 25-minute mark, I guess the question is, like, do you see a timer for either team? Do both scale equally well late? And what is your game plan? It seems clear this game is not going to end, you know, sub 30 minutes, so we are looking more towards the late game now.
Yeah, it really is. And with that said as well, Abaddon is going to scale fairly well, I think, just because he's got the Midas so early and the Radiance picked up too. Monkey King got to be careful here. His Invis just ran out. 20 seconds to his TP here.
Continues to go deeper, but they're looking for him now. Dubu, oh man, he's in deep. That is way too deep.
That was actually really unlucky. The Venge just happened to be there. He didn't use his TP. He was actually here already, so
he did get a ward down though.
Oh, that's actually really good.
I guess if that goes unscouted, maybe it's worth it.
I actually think that's pretty worth it, I think. I mean, look at the map right now. There's only 2 tier 2s alive. It means you want to keep your opponents in your base, and if they leave the base, you want to know where they go. And this is a place where nobody is going to anticipate a ward at this time period, except for the fact that Monkey King was just there. But we'll see. It might catch some spots, and at the very least, it's going to notice supports leaving the base, headed to the bot lane, things like that.
Aggressive, continuing to stalk around here under cover of Shadowblade, now back to the trees. And the threat of that gank has forced a gem reaction, but it's Fenrir who pounces first. He goes in, but Sleight of Fist from Abed. Oh, he just barely gets away. He salvages the gem. I think he lives.
Okay.
Does 70 HP. That was real close to a kill, but they get the Sleight of Fist off and barely able to make it out.
Just painfully watching is here to see if there's any other attacks that were coming, because jumping to your Remnant doesn't actually disjoint those attacks. There was a chance that one more little hit would sneak through and get it killed, but at least he saved the gem. That was the loss in the last fight, and they spent the money on it. They can't lose it this early.
Well, now he's got to be real careful. Like, he had the gem. Okay, now Aggressive can't sneak up on me as easily, but there's also the Blink Dagger on Fenrir, and that was, I believe, the debut, so.
Yeah, it was. Blinked forward and punched him instantly. 2.2 second stun.
That's some One Punch Man stuff right there, as Fenrir hides in the trees up above. Dubu stalking him. Is currently Edviz. Abed leading the way, is going to find the chains connection. They want to follow this up though, diving that far for a tree. A bit dicey against the kind of team fight that Vici can turn around with, and they are going to lead with the swap. They get up on Demon, the rock drop, but not to much effect as in comes Freeze. Engage with the Stone Gaze, combining it with the egg. Can Abed make it out? Looks like should be able to escape at least for now. They continue pursuit. There is a haste rune here for Fenrir, so they might try to go for this. Aggressive is going to have the Shadow Blade soon, but they're basically just going to have to catch Abed being greedy if they want to get this kill. as he does end up just TPing fully away. So Vici Gaming dropped a lot of ults there, Kevin, but they will take the fight.
The game changed a lot in these last couple engagements. I mean, the big thing about that fight was the Observer Ward spotting those heroes. And what was insane, actually, is when he swapped Warlock, it killed the trees on both sides, which stunned the Monkey King for 4 full seconds. So there was no response from Monkey King to try to keep himself alive or Demon alive.
Oh, poor Dubu. All of a sudden, just can't seem to catch a break here, though. As I say that, is going to be able to leap away. VG Gaming not able to corral that Monkey King in time.
Very close, though. They got the vision, they lost the vision, and then he leaps to safety. But yeah, the fact that you kill both supports right at the start of the fight changes a lot. And all of a sudden, the pressure for DC is feeling a little bit more difficult to execute. And that's mostly just because the disable durations on Vici Gaming are finally in a good place. Tree's stun. His punch is going to do 2.2 seconds. And if you think back to how they lost that fight originally, I'm sitting here thinking, where did Tree get these 13 levels? He doesn't even have a Midas. And really, a lost team fight or two pumps this guy's levels up massively, which are now leading to kills. Just imagine if he had that gem back in that last fight, or a sentry in the right position, or if Abed played a little bit more carefully. The game could have just been over right now.
Yeah, so for DC, given that the fights are not going particularly well, I guess, my question is, should they go to a plan B here? Would you like to see them just split pushing and dodging fights? Is it more about fight selection for you, or what's the game plan moving forward?
They're definitely always going to be good at split pushing with Prophet and the BOTs on Ember Spirit. So I think that's just something you fit in naturally. It gets you farm, it forces your opponents to react, especially with how few towers they have right now. Split pushing will be an aspect. And Roche control is really the big next objective, because they can easily still win this game. By all means, they still have 3 of the top 4 net worths in the game. So don't let their opponents get Roche for free. Maybe show up and fight this if possible, but 27 seconds left for the Rock.
All right, Operation Let's Get Mama Dusa and Aegis potentially underway here as freed up the slot. Freeze ready to grab this, and Dubu maybe looking to be cute, but his tree gets eaten down with the monkey. Is the call. Will Abed even try for heroics here in the pit? He gets, well, actually, no, sorry, Demon getting swapped into the bash. Follow-up stun could be coming through momentarily from Aggressive. Is going to end up going down. Aegis secured by Freeze. Roche as well. They get the credit there for the kill, and now they just strut away. So Aegis on the Lady Dusa. And meanwhile, Bulba doing a bit of split pushing, takes this tier 3 bottom down about halfway, but give up half your tower's HP for an Aegis, 2 kills. And the Roche gold seems good for Vici Gaming.
Not a good thing at all, but taking the tower to half, that gives me some hope at least for DC. The tree armor is going to heal it back up though, so can he actually split push slowly while dealing with tree armor? That's a harder question. So
that's a good point. Like that, and maybe that is an argument for not trying to just rely on split push.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. So almost pretty much every single fight leads to gets the vision. Oh, he's in trouble here.
Gets rooted. Abed trapped out. Now throwing the remnant, but not going to make it away. The physical damage simply too much here. Is Aggressive hitting for nearly 250 a pop, not even mentioning all the minus armor this team can bring to bear. So a big pick. It's going to allow them to shove these lanes out if they so choose. And see Freeze make the rotation bottom now. Butterfly coming, and there is a decent amount of magic damage. It's not like all in on physical versus Freeze, but this Dusa is just not feeling very killable right now. You've got Swap, you've got the Abaddon shields, the armor, not to mention if you fight into the Dusa, you're fighting into the egg potentially, Kevin. And on top of that, you mentioned Mana Burn. We're not really seeing anything yet. Just for now, the Manta being picked up on the Spectre, but still no Diffusal.
He actually did just finish it. Diffusal Blade just finished it. It must have been on the courier when you checked. So Diffusal Blade's ready, he's got the Manta style, but that basically means they can kill Dusa if she's by herself or way out of position. And that's what it's going to come down to. Kill the other opponents, the other enemies first, then kill Dusa. Those are the circumstances that they're looking for. But the last couple of engagements have been all Monkey King getting killed first, or Warlock getting killed first, so Vici Gaming have used their in this very well.
Bulba might get punished here. Fenrir was waiting. Aggressive coming in now. He's going to drop the wave of terror, but reinforcements on their way. They get the stun. They should be able to get the kill, but Abed looks to turn it. He comes in, dropping the chains, and then getting the hell away. Has to be very scared of that physical damage. You saw how quickly he dropped last fight, so he doesn't even try to finish off the tree.
Yeah, Prophet getting killed quite easy. If you have detection or a gem or something like that, and you don't have a blink or a force or something that gets you out of danger instantly, and they can't catch up, then that's always going to be a big threat when you're playing Prophet. So.
And that is what I think that's what I like about the way Vici Gaming are playing this, is they have the itemization of the blink on tree, The Shadow Blade on Venge, it makes it kind of scary to split push when these heroes can just ambush you out of nowhere. They don't, you mentioned, I think very true, they don't look mobile on paper, but the item selection is giving them that threat of gank that discourages split push.
Yeah, the Shadow Blade was ingenious just for that reason alone. And a couple teamfight wins, they get a blink on 3. No Midas, go for an action item, and I'm happy to see it. A little too many Midases being built right now.
But you're not a fan of like 9 Midases in one game.
Like 5, whatever. But when you do it 9 or 10, there's some heroes in there that don't need it, in my opinion. Sentry goes down, though. Fenrir spotting out the next team fight. He's got 2 points in overgrowth if he can catch these guys.
Could be a huge grab to get things underway. Mason, having already just the Manta, could be in danger here. He's going to get stunned, then slowed down by the Leech Seed. Still waiting for reinforcements to arrive. Swooping in deeper, dropping the egg, the overgrowth's there. Great combination, going now for the stun, but able to haunt away to the other side of the fight. Mason looks to reset, and it looks like they may have bitten off more than they could chew. Even RTK coming in, getting healed up by the Sunray, but FY so low. Boba brings him down. Now RTK, the ult's about to end. The pain might be beginning momentarily as he gets chewed up by the Mana Bird, quickly falling. Now aggressive, on to the next one, they say. Dusa looking to salvage the fight. They have to commit the Stone Gaze. They don't have a whole lot else just yet. They get the bash on Abed. Can they get the follow-up, though? Abed takes the tree down. Freeze, extremely tanky and painful, but doesn't really have much to work with here as Abed will get silenced. Sprouted now. Bulba trying to engage onto him. Almost dies in the process. Ends up living, kiting away. Great plays by Bulba. Now looking for Freeze. Looking for the team wipe. Can they finish him off? He's got the Aegis. They probably have to kill him twice as he will end up dropping. Yeah, Aegis not going to expire just yet. So round 2. Here we go. Nobody in sight. Not going to be easy here for Freeze as they continue to pound away at him. Freeze going for the TP out. No! Oh. So close. That's so far.
That was such a good decision to TP. I thought there was no way he gets out of that, but they are limited on disables and just barely did get the kill. I can't even believe DC won that fight. It looked so bad for them at the start, the egg right on top of those guys, but this shows how big of a threat Haunt is at this point. Every attack from the illusion drains tons of mana, does tons of damage.
I mean, it's a great combo, but Dusa wasn't there the entire fight until after that was over. Yeah. So, you know, is it worth it to commit the overgrowth just to set up egg when it means Dusa's not getting to hit anyone during that time? I guess that's really the concern for Vici is they seem in those larger team fights very reliant on the Dusa to be there, and she is not the most mobile hero as RTK. Will get caught here, time being in the middle lane. You see the Silver Edge pick up on Bulba, so has to be careful not to get killed off without the borrow time activation. We're working on him a little bit. They chase on the Demon. They will bring him down. Now the power play potentially. Borrow time from RTK. Duber running right into the meat grinder and flying right back to the well. He'll be picked up. Now the Spectre could be next. Bulba tries to turn it. Gets off the silence. Can't quite follow it up though. They're going to chew through Bulba. Finish him off. RTK will get the kill, but this leaves Mason free to run. Rough shot over VG Gaming. 4 dead. 5v5 as still the Dusa waits for her respawn. The big punish. DC right back into it.
Once again, Spectre looking like a hero that Venge just can't stop unless they start on the Spectre. It's pretty much the only way. And they got Vici Gaming got so much tempo back in this game, but these last 2 fights have them just reading the game a little bit incorrectly here. I mean, especially in that fight 2 fights ago, it's all about the global. Their engagement here, they put a lot of damage into Bad and never once triggered his ultimate though. I think that made a huge difference for Vici Gaming's advantage, but maybe made them overconfident as well.
Yeah, they commit a lot here to kill off Demon, but remember, they're fighting without Dusa for 40 seconds, so, you know, even after they get that initial kill, borrow time eventually expires, they just kind of wait it out, kite, and then Mason comes rushing back in. He knows that there's not a whole lot to deal with him with the Dusa out of the picture, and he's able to take advantage.
A lot of that actually was the tree getting overeager. I think he jumped straight onto the Spectre, and luckily for him, the Ember was nearby, guarantees the disable that gives you the vision. And that's very simple for Mason to just say, oh, this is an easy kill. I just attack this guy 5 times, he goes down. Tree just reading the team fight slightly wrong. He has to realize the threat that poses from DC's cores. Ember Spirit plus the Spectre together can kill so many people. And if they make that mistake, Prophet's going to TP in the back line. Maybe other heroes will re-engage as well.
So we are going to see Freeze call an audible as he transitions into an MKB. Had the butterfly in the quick buy earlier, but decides he needs the True Strike to deal with that Radiance mischance and just a little more damage perhaps for the team.
It won't be too bad. It does magic when it procs, so considering how much magic resistance is on DC's side, I think it's alright. It'll be good against Ember Spirit 2 Break Flame Guard, but like you said, it's really all about hitting the target. way more important than his evasion right now, because he's not the target, right? They're going to go on his teammates, kill all the teammates, then be able to do so. So this is a rare game, I think, where Dusa definitely needs to prioritize damage.
All right. Vici Gaming trying to stay on target here, as this is an elimination match. In fact, all are from this point forward at the Kiev Major. They are forced into a much more defensive posture, and you can really see it just if you just kind of ignore the middle of your screen, just look at the minimap, the way Vici are moving. Always 5 close together in the jungle, very afraid at this point with quite limited vision, and with an extremely mobile DC lineup to strike out on their own, whereas DC still pretty confident, farming multiple lanes, moving around freely on his own. Dubu has been scouting out, and now DC are going to converge here, looking to take down this tier 2 top, second to last outer tower for Vici, now under siege.
Kind of bad time for the fight to start, but did actually trap himself in goes, tries to sprout himself out, does not work actually.
He's going to teleport soon if he wants to commit it just to get out of this spot, but all of a sudden it's a dangerous location. His are coming in, I think actually hunting for the Monkey King there.
Really smart by Medusa. She grabbed an illusion rune, sent him to the top lane to cut waves. These last so much longer than Manta illusions, so it made that pretty straightforward. But considering that Bobo's in the wrong place already, I think DC did the right thing. Push a little bit, but play safe. Roche is up soon though. That's going to be the next engagement. That's what the teams need to aim for. So Vici Gaming is forced to be 5 at most of these moments. DC's not, so I think it's going to be a little up to Vici Gaming to take the more forced engagement.
And I like the discipline from Vici, as we do see RTK getting clipped by the scan in here, but Roche actually not up yet. Because that's where Vici are likely to get their team fight off, is when you fight them at the tower. So playing a little, as well as near the shrine. So playing a little more patiently, waiting for a better opportunity to see if Vici can force them to the pit, or if DC will be able to keep them away from it, courtesy of the split push.
Was really good ward vision down for Vici Gaming right now. With that said, all they have to do is press Haunt, and DC sees everybody on the enemy team. So maybe this will be all right for them for now, but they've got to keep an eye on the road today. It's up. They just can't let him snake it.
I have Scotty.
I like this choice. You a fan of this item, or do you usually prefer Heart first?
I like Scotty. I think it ensures that, like Phoenix dives away, you're still going to easily be able to run him down and catch him quite quickly.
Yeah.
A little bit better balance of damage and survivability. So I think it's always a solid pickup on Spectre.
Yeah, me too. I really like it in combo with the Spectral Dagger cooldown perk, because normally you throw so many daggers out, you run out of mana fast. So it's a place where Scotty, mana on an agility hero actually pays off, where it normally is kind of just wasted. So that slow plus always dagger being there, I think it'll be really useful this game. Just got to be careful not to die.
Well, speaking of dying, we might see that as soon as Boba comes in. He does get the Silver Edge, combines it with the Silence onto RTK. Now the Remnant in. Can they kill him off in time? They do, right before he's able to get the borrowed time off Peatballs. And now onto Freeze. Stonegate's already committed. He's being isolated here, but healed up from behind by the Phoenix. Has to drop the egg. They look to retreat as they fight in the Wukong's command. Dubu doing work, but gets punished for it. Will end up going down so low. They aren't on Otta. They're going to get it, but they do get the kill. They went right into the massive team fight, and they do end up getting punished a little bit there in the end. Is now Warlock ult on cooldown, Haunt on cooldown, Roche is up, and I believe we're going to see VG Gaming head right towards it.
That was an amazing play by Fenrir there. Just looking like he's an easy kill. Ember was out of remnants, but he just turned and fought him with the Solar Crest, and Ember just kept missing. He doesn't have the best right click right now due to his kind of weird items, but ultimately Ember going down. So DC losing a fight, that's really good for them, but look at the Abaddon kill right at the start. Looks so great.
And RTK did have to buy back, but that's like such a key situation to buy back, is you're running this, really this 4 protect 1 Medusa. Like, yeah, Venture does decent damage with the AC pickup, but really is not going to be the main carry in these fights. And with this Freeze, actually going to be the one given the cheese at this stage. So they give him the cheese. They have the Aegis and RTK. Pretty much ensures that they can't be cute and just snipe him like we saw last fight with the Silver Edge into the Silence. So guaranteed a bad and borrowed time in a team fight.
Yeah, may just focus them on killing somebody else instead. They could just silence the Abaddon, go on somebody else, because silence does prevent you from popping your borrowed time. Part of the reason that interaction works. And for that, Abaddon is going to queue up a Lotus Orb next to remove that problem. But he's got a lot of gold to go, and DC will have their ultimates pretty soon here. 58 seconds left for the Golem. And I don't even think they necessarily need that to win some fights.
Only game one here is Digital Chaos and VG.J duke it out. DC, still actually both teams yet to threaten a tier 3, really. That bottom tower that was pressured earlier, right back to full health, so it doesn't feel like casual split push is going to work. Maybe you can rat it out, but you're really going to have to commit more than just a Prophet hitting a tower a few times and some treants. You'll have to stick around, and that's where Vici Gaming could punish with the Shadow Blade, the Blink Dagger, and Tree. As Vici Gaming, the Siege Engine starts to roll down the mid lane. They have Aegis, they have Cheese. The split push isn't very quick from DC. Top lane, still at least one more wave, potentially 2 waves before they're going to get to the tier 3. They're kind of hesitant to commit to this. The Spectre just sort of thinking about it, while Vici, no hesitation, right onto the tower. They're looking to break the base.
So the waves are being cut, but they've got to kill the creep waves, and they got to buy some time here, because it takes a while for the backdoor to actually set in.
Freeze is not really looking to give them that time. He says, stay right where you are. I'm coming for the structures, Dubu. Sticking around. And remember, they can trade structural damage here because they have the tree. As long as they don't give anything up, will likely be a win for them. Taking down the tower, can work on the rain tracks, and that is guaranteed damage that you're not going to get back.
Good movement there by Vici. So Shrines dropping is going to be bad for DC, but not the end of the world. It could be much worse on the opposite way around. But not a great sign for DC here. You got to take some fights that they actually win. That's really been their problem. They had such a good early tempo, but every fight since then has felt really hard.
So what is the key to winning a team fight or any kind of engagement for DC, Kevin? Like what do they need to do to find those good team fights?
I feel like Vici Gaming is initiating most of the time. I mean, maybe that's part of the advantage that they have, is that they're always 5 in a lot of cases. So perhaps it's a vision-based thing, know where your opponents are so that you don't get engaged on, because very difficult to stop the tree from jumping on you instantly, obviously. But he's jumping on somebody, disabling, there's follow-up, there's more follow-up. I don't know, maybe start frontlining with Spectre, for example. Really tanky, just quite a bit of armor. Put that guy in the front, that way he can actually take some of the pressure off. Because both Abed as well as Nature's Prophet can't really deal with that in the same way. And if they do get gone on first, those guys definitely get picked off in a lot of cases.
Vici Gaming, no finesse required. They just 5-man death ball down towards the bottom lane. Group up, park Freeze and ROTK out in front, and get to work on buildings. Meanwhile, Pink's coming out as we've got scouted here, dropping across the tree line. That's why looking for that follow-up scout. They are going to lock onto him. They crack that tree down. They pull the king off his throne. They'll kill him, and now they can push towards high ground. No Monkey King buyback available, it looks like. So Monkey King out of the picture now. That means no Wukon's command, and he does have the Basher now. So pretty big deal to take him away for the next team fight.
This is tough for DC here. The lane may even run to the mid lane now. That would be a place to hit. So melee barracks, while the creeps are in the base, all the other waves are pushed out, but not bot lane. That should give them a little bit of time to take the racks, maybe enough.
Freeze not knocking on the front door now. Anybody home, he says. DC, they answer, but not a very confident response. They've already dropped the melee racks. They really have to get something out of this fight, but it's so tough to go on Freeze. Way out in front, being healed up by the Phoenix. They drop the rocket. He's still basically at full health. The mana's quite decent as well as Mason tries to work on him. That ain't gonna happen either. ROTK, borrowed time committed. Remember, has the Aegis, Freeze, has the cheese with the evasion of the butterfly. They just keep on hitting buildings. You can't get these backliners because they're so damn far back. Still slash away at the Dusa. Still has the cheese available. RTK with the Aegis as well. And now the combo, the turnaround, dropping first the tree and ultimate, then the egg, kaboom! Finds 3, looking for more. They jump deeper, looking for the follow-up. Amazing, and they bring him down. Will Abed looking for the turnaround. He commits pretty heavily into this fight, but still Freeze alive through it all. Even going aggro onto Bulba, wants to bring the Nature's Prophet down. Can he do it? It's Freeze against the world. So tanky, so difficult to kill. Dubu in danger of dropping here. He's going to commit for it. He gets punished. Demon almost dead as well. Finally, they slay the beast, but the damage done as the melee Rex has fallen. The range Rex, one attack away from dropping. All 4 have buyback if required, and some might be because Bulba is threatening the top lane.
That teamfight coordination was insane. 2 buybacks, and DC loses by about 700 gold. Not much, but if the next fight goes like that, the game ends basically. That's a dead Ember Spirit, that's a dead Nature's Prophet. So they still lost melee barracks on top of that. Range barracks also very low, and they still haven't been able to take a tier 3 of their opponents yet.
Whew. Freeze going back for the Hurricane Pike now, so pretty close to being maxed out here as far as items go. Could maybe consider trading something out, but effectively Freeze is as big as he's going to get.
So there was the engagement here. Once the Supernova came in with the Overgrowth, man, that looked one-sided. I was wondering why the egg took no damage. It was all the Overgrowth. The perfect coordination there when DC was grouped as 3.
You can see Mason just has to run pretty early in the fight. You really want Spectre to be going in. Freeze, just so incredibly difficult to bring down now that he has the Butterfly, and no MKB here on anyone. I guess Bulba has the Bloodthorn, so potentially you get the True Strike if he's able to use it at the right time, and the Manta's on cooldown, but not really a very killable Dusa until the team fight's basically over.
Yeah, exactly. Phoenix does have Aghanim Scepter, by the way. He opted for the 150 GPM perk over the Fire Spirit's DPS, and he looks real rich right now. I mean, he's only 3,000 gold behind Ember Spirit, who's middle of the pack right now, by the way.
I'm starting to have slight flashbacks to that Disruptor game where FY got Ags and Refresher Orb. He has queued up the Refresher in a quick buy. Can you imagine a double Ag, a double Shiva's Guard, and with the Aghanim Scepter as well, potential here to bring that Dusa back for a second life.
Yeah, and he also refreshes the basic cooldowns. I don't think that matters this game, but fun
well,
fact.
the Sunray is pretty big
but
potential here.
The ally you bring in with your egg.
Oh, you mean the Ags, yeah.
I think it'd be 2 snakes in 10 seconds, dude.
Yeah.
Never know.
Good luck killing that Dusa once, let alone twice. Now, that said, if they do it, Freeze already used his buyback, so he'll be out of the picture for a long time. I believe RTKs has almost cooled down by now. As they are going to make their move, they find Dubu top. Dubu down, and no buyback for him. Out for 70 to DC. They have to wrap up the split push. I guess good news is this top lane's pretty far in. Mid lane, not really the lane that Vici want to be focusing on, so may not transition into a full tower threat off of that.
DC still has to be so careful with their split push, though. Like because of the tree and the other disables and things like that, it's already been just difficult for Bulba to split push, for Ember Spirit to split push. Even Monkey King having some trouble here. But he does have Shadow Blade now. I don't know if they've got another gem yet. They have not. No gem on VG.J right now. But they're definitely in the lead right now. It's looking pretty good. They've also got some Lotus Orbs picked up, so the silence is going to mean less. Abaddon can pretty much get his ultimate off every time now.
Yeah, not to mention the next Rosh is coming, and potentially you can just grab the Aegis, get rid of the Midas, which has essentially served the majority of its purpose at this point.
He's got a backpack for that, right? Let it recharge a little bit slower.
Yeah.
I think the big item we're waiting on is maybe something new for Abed. I mean, he got his Octarine Shivas really fast with the Maelstrom, but it's been a while since we saw a new damage item. He's got a great build for keeping your opponents not moving, taking magic damage, but actually killing heroes. He's been having some trouble there.
And it's really not a single target Ember build at all. And the way the game's developed, it feels like you need to be able to kill a single target. It's really all about killing Freeze, or maybe a backliner before they get off a key ultimate.
That's actually the big part. One really big advantage of Ember is, Mason's in a bad spot right now.
Mason out far, and he gets swapped. Looking for the top stun, but he dodges it with the Manta. Big plays from Mason on the big stage, but he gets bashed, focused, killed off regardless. He had best fingers, but Vici had the numbers. Now the rock getting dropped. They fight in the Wukong's command. They stand their ground, build to borrow time, and engage forward, dropping the egg. Now potentially the retreat is DC. The Golem standing strong. Looks like they will force them on their heels. The egg is going to drop. Freeze still alive, is able to Manta his way out of the Sprout, and then the turn. There's the ultimate coming in. 1, 2, 3, looking to bring them down in a hurry. Finds not only the Spectre, the Prophet, but now looking for the Monkey as well. Abed on the run. He's low. He's not dead yet. Trying to chip him down bit by bit, inch by inch. Freeze does it. Gets the triple. Nails DC. And now the push down mid potentially to begin, though they are quite low and may want to heal up first.
Oh, they call it.
GG.
That's it. Man, Vici Gaming held on to such pressure from DC. Winning team fight after the 30-minute mark. Just because of the heroes they picked, man. That execution was actually insane.
Especially the later fights. Like I think probably for me the crispest fight was that one at the Dire Tier 3 mid where they got, what was it, like a 4-hero overgrowth combined with the egg. They held those ultimates for a while. The Dusa was patient with the cheese usage, and then they
Not too surprising. I mean, Fenrir is a very good player, but Overgrowth seemed like a 5-second stun that game. The utility that it had was exactly what they needed to deal with DC's lineup, and DC just fell flat towards the end of the game. They got very close in so many of the fights as well, but in that last one particularly, Vici Gaming disengaged, got out of the upheaval, got out of the Monkey King ultimate, all of the important stuff that basically was their bread and butter team fight.
Well, Boba in a hurry to get off the stage and get ready for game 2. Kind of a disappointing way to lose for DC, where they had a strong start, weren't able to finish. If you had to pick one big thing for DC to work on, what would it be?
I felt like there was a lot of deaths coming from Monkey King and the supports, and maybe slightly different itemization, but I'm not sure.
All right.
It was tough.
Well, for more detailed breakdown, let's go back to Paul and the rest of the boys. More detailed breakdown.
Yes, thank you very much to LD. We'll head back there for game number 2, of course, to our commentary team in the Palace of Arts. It is a 1-0 lead, but which way round did it go? Who knew all the way through that DC weren't going to pull it off? At times it looked like they were, at times it looked like they weren't, then it looked like they were, and then they didn't. That's basically the story. But to break it down with more expertise, we've got 3 experts alongside us as well. Teevan, Malini, and God's all back with us. We'll start with you, Ben. What do you say after a game like that? Because it felt like DC got themselves back into a game they shouldn't have been winning, and then they kind of lost their way again.
I thought they were going to win with the Spectre just having incredibly high net worth and was free farming for the majority of the game, but then Medusa finally came to the fights and started destroying people, and their team fight synergy was incredibly great and much stronger than DC's team fight.
That's the key point. Medusa started coming to the fights. There was 3 key fights, 3 big, like, full-on team fights that were 4v5, no Medusa. First at, like, that bottom bounty rune, Medusa's off top. Then there was another one at mid-area, and then there was one where Medusa was dead, and the team went in. Like, they kept trying to fight without him.
We're going to take a look at one. It's around about 30 minutes. It's a Roche fight that I think VG started, actually. And, Ben, you picked out a few highlights for us to go through. We'll take a look at this first one. As I said, it's around about 30 minutes at the Roche pit.
Yeah, so as you can see, the Monkey King immediately dies at the start of the fight. And this happened actually consistently throughout the game, where VG.J just seemed very well in tune about how to deal with the Monkey King. Cut down a tree, they like scouted him with like the Shivas and the Phoenix later with the dive, and Monkey King died a lot. Purge mentioned it, like there was just too many deaths coming up from DC. When you don't have a strong team fight, you got to keep up the net worth on your supports to try and power through with items.
Yeah, you also mentioned the Medusa going missing and not always. This is another example of it right here.
Yeah, this is tail end of the fight. After, if you look at the scoreboard, 4 of the heroes were already dead. Phoenix had the respawn talent, so he's already up. But then Medusa finally comes in a fight, has Aegis, but you're isolated. She almost gets a TP out here, but will not end up surviving.
Yeah. I've got one more after this one. Timon, you had something to say?
Yeah, it felt like DC's early game was quite solid. They understood how to do anything, but going into the mid game, it just felt like they just weren't a team anymore. They weren't sure as to how to play around their lineup and what to do from there. Like I spoke about before the game started, this is this team that wants to be able to go together and take objectives and such. But if the snowball doesn't amount to anything, it just becomes way too hard for them to have good decision making in the mid-late game.
And look how well the Medusa is posted up in this fight, just up in the front. 2 unkillable heroes in front. We talked about how ROTK, he even managed to die on the Abba before popping his ult due to the excellent Silver Edge, but this fight was certainly not one of them, and these 2 tanky heroes just stand in the front, get a free rack without really using any spells. And they had to use pretty much all their buybacks, and they still lost their racks.
Yeah. I feel like the Vici Gaming supports this game played godly. Both Trine and Phoenix did so much in team fights. The Trine was hitting amazing overgrowth and constantly finding and initiating with this first item, Blink Dagger. We're kind of talking about like should we go Midas, should we go Blink, but Meteor gets the Blink. He almost kills the Ember with a Blink Bash. He's constantly finding the Monkey King. The synergy in the team fight was there. The Sunray just healed and did so much damage as well. I feel like FY and Fenrir were the heroes this game.
Aggressive also had really good swaps too. And his Shadow Blade reveal to kill Ember, I think that kept the Ember from like spiraling out of control. He was controlled very well because they were super light on. They were like, how are they going to be able to control this Ember? But the Shadow Blade was a pretty nice solution.
MVP for the game? Who would you single out?
I'll go first. I thought that Treant played phenomenally. They didn't have any disables, but he was everywhere and the right place at the right It's the right time, catching people with his disable. I really didn't think they could kill anyone, but apparently you can if you're Fenrir as a treant
Yeah.
with no disables on your lineup. So, and his team fight contributions were perfect too. Their timings were in sync. Everything was
I agree.
amazing.
I'm
Okay, so we're
totally
going to give it
on
to
board.
Fenrir?
Yeah.
Okay, Fenrir MVP. It should be said as well that FY and Fenrir as a pair, we've talked about them as a legendary pair already. It's really the first time we've seen this Treant Phoenix combination work, because it's been tried by other teams, particularly Chinese teams. IG, notably, in the group stages, tried this a couple of times. It didn't look very good with them playing. And this is another typical example, Gods, of a team where the Chinese teams do talk a lot. They do swap tactics with each other a lot and talk about what might be good and what might be good. It's another example of a team taking it from someone else and actually doing it better.
Yeah, I think they had this idea that DC were going to 5-man and fight them a bit more. DC's not really a team who will resort to like split push, even though they pick the Nature's Prophet Bowl, but typically wants to join fights. And DC were running at them, trying to fight with the Haunt, and well, VG.J said, we'll one up you. We'll just have better team fight. We'll have this Treant, Phoenix, Medusa that you can't beat it.
I guess the biggest thing we should say about the combination is that they have a Spectre and Ember Spirit as cores. Neither of these heroes want to really right-click an egg in the middle of a fight. And then on top of that, if you add a Treant who's already going to like mitigate whatever right-clicks you do have, this egg is going to come off every time. I don't think they ever even killed an egg once it became level 2.
I think that's an important point, because I think IG actually took a lot of team fights when Phoenix was still level 1, and it just died all the time. And I thought they were in trouble because they were just waiting for the Spectre to get bigger and bigger, but they actually waited until Phoenix Egg was level 2, and it's a big difference, 5 and 8 hits.
Right.
And the egg just stayed alive the whole entire time.
It was very patient as well, wasn't it, from Fenrir, with the way that he played that. Whereas other Phoenix players tend to want to just get the egg out there. Fenrir seemed to hold back sometimes when it looked like when it looked like he should do it. Sometimes he didn't, and it was actually the right call every time.
Right.
Towards the end of the game, he got the Ags too, like that last big fight. He gets the Venge and the Ags Supernova as well, so it's help out a teammate, add a duration.
And that's what dictates the good 4-position supports from just like any other 4-position supports. They understanding at what point in the fight to cast their spells. Like most amazing 4-position supports that we know, they take their time. They always look at the entire fight and then feel like only when it's good for the team or themselves to go in, they will do it. Very important.
Where did it go wrong for DC then?
I
think they rushed picking Abed's here. I was surprised they picked it up 4th when they had the last pick of the draft, like saving Bulbous here for last seemed a bit odd. I mean, with that said, Abed played a pretty great game, but I think they could have maybe put him in a better position with like a last pick. He instantly gets counter-picked by Medusa. Had a bit of a rough lane stage, although he still farmed her. I feel like they didn't need to pick his hero as hastily as they did, though.
And in terms of, do you feel like they could have won that game? Because there were points, weren't there, where they had the advantage and it looked like they could take the game.
think once Abba and Medusa reach that critical mass, then it's really, really difficult to do so. But at the same time, Medusa's one of the heroes that, like, it's impossible to kill her out of Shrine. So if they do decide to push high ground, it would have just been disastrous. So what exactly was their timing to win, I feel?
They definitely could have won this game, but they had to, like, play much different. What it felt like was Mason wasn't really comfortable on playing the Spectre. That's what I thought. Like, he spent a lot of time farming, not really trying to get his team to do things together so he can haunt in and get these picks, especially when like VG.J used their buyback or something like that.
Or when ultis are down. Like, this is a very cooldown dependent lineup. You don't have Stonegaze Egg. You want to be pushing and fighting.
DC also, but that's one of the weaknesses of like DC's lineup for them. They like to play with the low cooldowns. They like to constantly keep pressuring the enemy. They like to see when the enemy's ults are down and try to pressure them. But in this game, they themselves had the big cooldown with the Haunt. So they were always trying to see like, okay, let's wait for Haunt, guys. But when Haunt came up, they didn't really understand where to be on the map in order to get the team fight that they want, since it's not really the playstyle that they typically play.
We pulled out Freeze for a bit of criticism beforehand, saying that he didn't have necessarily the deepest pool, very experienced, but he turned up, Gods, didn't he?
I'd say yes, to the extent like he played pretty well. I don't think he was, either his team weren't on the same page as him, or he wasn't on the same page as his team in the early game when he was missing from those fights. Like his scoreline at the end, 9-11, looks great. But I think if you look at the early game fights where VG.J struggled, it was always like, whoa, where's Freeze? Where's Medusa? If Medusa's here, they're winning this fight. And that's always a team call. You don't know whether you can't just blame the player for that. It's hard to know exactly who's saying to fight, whether or not if Freeze is already TP top. We saw a few times VG.J just shouldn't be fighting. So individually, I think he did play well. In terms of how he worked with the team, I think there's still room for improvement, though.
Okay, was it convincing enough a performance that you feel that VG.J can go on and take this 2-0?
I don't think so if ROTK is given a different hero. I think because of ABBA, there's so much room for... Like, he got caught out. He died a couple of times. He didn't have the best laning phase. Like, he needed Radiance to actually do something, which I don't particularly like from some ABBA players. Like, you should be able to, like, pressure lanes and die minimally and keep a low death count, but he just seemed, like, off the map a lot, which it didn't seem to play well, and I think it put them further behind than they needed to. So I think their drafts are consistently just really strong in team fight, though. So I think DC need to match that, and if VG.J have worse team fight, I think they'll almost definitely lose.
Do you think they take the ABBA away?
Ideally, they have first pick. I think they ban Omni, take ABBA. That's I think the very, very first step.
Or just ban both. If you don't want to play ABBA, I think ban it, because RTK is a player who struggles a lot in the laning stage. I think it's his weakest point as a player. He shines elsewhere, like leading the team. Once he has items, he can have a big impact, but as kind of Ben's saying, like you put him on a different hero. These are not those other heroes offlaners don't really recover or farm that well. So
I think between both these teams, it's going to come down to just the draft. It's like DC, they play phenomenally only when they can get the draft that they want. And in this game, although they had a strategy, didn't feel it fit them. And as for VG.J, they got F1 and Fenrir on this teamfight supporters, and then they got the 3 cores that are pretty much gonna complement that. And VG.J, they're in their comfort zone. This is what they want. They want ROTK to play the ABBA that can't die. Just run in there for his team, provide vision, get that big team fight. DC, not so much.
Okay. We'll look forward to our second draft very shortly. Of course, players off having a break, and we'll be getting themselves ready to come back for the second draft. Until then, we've got some more social media questions from your questions that you've posted on the Facebook post, and we'll take another one right now and quiz our stars here on the panel. Is Monkey King in a good spot now with such a low win rate? We've sort of covered that a little bit, Gods, haven't we, already? But it's hard, isn't it? Because it still seems quite effective when you watch it play.
Yeah, it's being highly prioritized. I think the big thing is less that the nerfs have made him weaker, but more that teams have played against him a lot now. And that's where I think it was highlighted in that last game. Teams are getting very good at hunting for him, understanding where he moves, where he can be positioned. They're constantly checking for him. Like we saw that really cool Baboka play where he gets the blind pull in the trees. I think it's just this understanding, like this is where he should be or is very likely going to be. So the more teams play and keep playing against him, he could have never been nerfed, but the hero's win rate was ultimately always going to go down because teams just get used to it.
Yeah, and likewise, players are figuring out not only how to play it, but how to draft against it as well.
And we can say it was also overly used, right?
Yes.
Some teams just picked it because they just didn't want the enemy to have it, even though maybe they weren't a really good team with the Monkey King.
Yeah, it's definitely dropped off in terms of win rate. Let's take a couple more questions while we wait for our draft to come in. Next one is this. Most annoying Ricky player in the pro scene?
Baboka.
Does Shay Nomad count in that? I don't know.
Pro scene, Paul.
He's kind of annoying as a Ricky. Yeah. Just play against him, that's all I say. He's bloody annoying. Anyway, pro players. So you think Baboka?
Baboka. For me.
I guess so.
Yeah?
Baboka.
Who's the most annoying Ricky you've played against?
Ever?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a...
Because it should stick in your mind, shouldn't it, when you play like a really annoying Ricky? You're just kind of like, oh god, that's tainted me forever now. Every time I see a Weaver picked into a Ricky, I'm just like, oh
to
god.
play against, If you don't want to play against Bounty, you don't want to play against Ricky, you don't want to play against Tree Endeavor.
Right.
So anybody who plays those heroes are automatically annoying.
Right. So Owie's very annoying then.
Yeah, totally.
Anyone in particular?
Guy.
Yeah. Anyone in particular, Ben, that stands out for you other than Baboka that you've seen play?
I'm sure Pi would play pretty annoying.
I'm mostly thinking about his bounty. Like I'm thinking of all the players who snipe the most curious. Those are the
MNT,
really annoying players. MNT, Pi, Baboka, the courier snipe. That's the most obnoxious bit is when your courier dies 2-3 times in a game.
I'm sure Demon would too if he played. If he played that.
Yeah.
Demon would just be super obnoxious.
Jimmy
with
would
that
be
hero.
obnoxious with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember he was Nature's Prophet against me one game. He was just the most annoying thing ever. He wasn't in my lane, and he just sent Trans to like watch the rune. And when I would get closer to him, he would just deny it in front of my face. I'd just be like, I hate you. And then he would just like TP, snipe courier, just TP and get. I'm so annoying.
Yeah. Viboka's definitely been annoying in terms of sniping Curry. He's got 2 in the game earlier. I think that took it to 7. I think out of 52.
That's really impressive.
Which is pretty crazy. There may have been another couple since then as well. There was one in the last series, which I think had a 4 MKB on it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like about 8
that was
Ks
GH.
worth.
GH killed.
Yeah, it
the
was,
courier
yeah.
as a lion.
Yeah. So you've got to be really annoyed
I
after
mean, he
that.
died for it, but
Yeah.
it was
Yeah. No,
well
I would
worth it
take
for
that
him.
though, wouldn't you?
Respawn timer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Respawn
Minus
timer
30
for an 8K.
anyways.
And we saw MNT also kill a courier in the mouse series.
Yep.
Yeah. That guy
couriers is what I'm
kills a
hearing.
lot of couriers.
We need more buffs on couriers. Courier lives matter, guys. Come on.
Yeah. I think the protest should start.
Couriers
any
on the
moment.
menu.
Players getting ready, as you can see in the booth. They are back. They are hopping into the lobby. Hopefully, we should get going in draft number 2. Just looking forward to it. Gods, what would you like DC to do here? Something a little bit different?
Yeah.
More
I think
to their
putting
play style?
Bulba back on like the team fight tempo heroes, something where he can go around, lead some ganks, and have. I mean, Abed was playing an Ember, but it felt like he was often the one starting the fights, initiating. He had to go in, lead the way. Spectre falls with the Haunt. I think put Bulba on that role, put Abed more on the farming role. We saw him play an amazing Shadow Fiend game. Going back to the group stage, I think he's going to shine more on maybe just a more farm-centric hero.
I think the Ember was actually pretty fine for him.
Okay.
It's just has more to do with actually Mason, in my opinion. With him playing a hero that can just rotate to a tower, rotate to Bulba's lane, play as 4, let Abed do his thing, let him farm, let him join a team fight whenever he wishes to do so, instead of like him having to be the first one there. Because when you play with Spectre, you need the other 4 guys to go together, and the Spectre plays on his own, so he can haunt into the fight. Can't do that if you want Abed to also be farming at the same time. So let Mason play this Juggernaut or Lifestealer.
Play a lot of Weavers too.
Yeah, he does play a lot of weird.
Vengeful Spirit, anything that can combo with Boba and the other 2 supports.
DC have second pick again.
They decide they'll change it up by banning Omni and Abba. Talk about
Okay.
this is the way
That's
to approach
definitely the
RTK.
play.
And now the Warlock, I think, is actually a much more powerful first pick without the Abba being in the pool. You can't remove the Fatal Bonds like, with Abba. So now Warlock taking it away from DC. Very strong play from VG.
Do you have to take Treant now?
Do you have to take Treant? It
I don't
doesn't
know.
synergize
To
as well,
block
right?
pick.
With the Warlock. Like with Warlock, you want this damage on the bonds. That's actually the biggest key point. Treant doesn't really provide anything for that. So you're sort of just picking 2 heroes that are team fighty, but you're relying on all your cores to do all the damage for you. A Nyx Assassin, wow.
Very
Okay,
early.
that's totally out of the blue.
I mean, it could be support Nyx, I guess, because it's been picked early.
I don't really see like what kind of interaction it has with the Warlock. Like I think they just pick the Nyx, maybe hide something, or maybe it's for future picks they think
Yep.
BG is gonna take, or maybe even a future pick they want.
I was going to say
themselves.
other synergy with what they want later on. in
Counters the
draft.
free zeros. Ember, Storm, Medusa. It owns all 3 of those.
Oh, that's
Protects.
true.
There we go. Protects the Invoker now too.
Okay. I guess in a way that ROTK does like playing the Nyx.
Yes.
So you are sort of taking that away, and it also stops VG from picking Medusa again. So
Sure.
2 very strong points for sure.
And Invoker, too.
Yeah, it gives
Medusa's out of the table.
Abed the Invoker was ridiculous on day 1 in the group stage.
Well, one hero I really like here is like Jug or Lifestealer, or 2 heroes, I guess. Lifestealer a bit more, but it's sort of okay. There we go. We see it. Extremely powerful laner versus Nyx, and the bomb onto the Invoker with the Lifestealer. Invoker can't really do anything against Magic Immunity. He needs to build like 4 staff or Yules, but even then, he most likely will just die under a bomb.
So, second phase bans. What do you like here, Gods?
Probably some of those heroes that are going to be the most troublesome partners with the Lifestealer. Be it like a Storm Spirit, Slardar, any of those other kind of... I mean, there's a lot. There's always going to be something left, but take away the ones that can be most dangerous for an Invoker.
think FY plays a really mean Slaughter.
Yeah, I say Slaughter for sure.
No. I really like that choice for sure. I'm not sure if DC thought this one through because they just picked the Nyx and the Invoker together, who are very weak versus the Lifestealer. Not sure like if they even realize that there's a potential for it. And they're not really banning any of the bomb heroes, right? They're just banning out the bad matchups for the Invoker. So the Templar, very high win rate hero. So I see that being a very good ban, but maybe they should consider getting rid of the Slaughter since the other real bombs, I'm not so sure if FY is going to feel as comfortable with.
The other hero they may consider if they were going to continue the trend of banning mids is the SF, because like you want that secondary core and like another DPS here to go with life, so you don't want this being like a single core.
Yeah. I guess on second thought, like there is Bounty and Ricky available as well, right? So maybe the...
Well, no longer Bounty, but...
Okay.
Those are way easier to deal with Force Staff, I think.
Right.
I think with a Slaughter, it's like, it's just, you can die way too quickly.
Nice thing about the Ricky and the Bounty is they have vision heroes, so they help find the Invoker, they help set up those kills by going for those, like scouting deep into the enemy jungle. Whereas Slaughter, like you have to rely on smokes a bit more and having those deep wards planted, and with a Slaughter Warlock, it's maybe hard to get that vision up.
I think FY's really good at playing the Slaughter without items, though. I think he's one of the best Slaughters that plays pre-blink, which I think is why I would fear that the most if I were Digital Chaos.
Yeah, I think Shadow Fiend does sound like a pretty good option for VG.J since it doesn't really interact with Nyx. He won't really care about the mana burn, and then if you're laning against Invoker, you have a little bit of help. It's going to be very hard for that Invoker to lane against him.
And just interacts well with the Lifestealer, the way these two heroes can kind of pair up. Got some good 5-man Deathbolt, take down some towers, take Roche.
And VG.J would love to play a lineup like that.
Yeah.
Should you consider banning the Jug if you're VG.J?
It is a rotation hero. Maybe Venge. Okay, Weaver. That was a good.
Couldn't they just wait? Don't care about the Weaver and just pick Slaughter in response though? Doesn't Slaughter Lifesteal crush that?
They can, but maybe they're worried about potential aggro tries. That could be very annoying since Lifestealer can't really contest it. But yeah, you're right. The Slaughter Lifestealer would have been good.
So DC go Magnus.
Puts Nyx on the support most likely now.
I mean, it's what, elimination game, right, for DC now, and this is Boba's pretty much most played offlaner in his pubs for the last 2 months.
Yep.
Basically, so they're just like, okay, this is it, guys.
We practiced for this moment.
Yeah, I want to play my mag right here. But this also tells that the Nyx is going to be support now.
Yeah.
And it's not a very good roaming support. I think VG.J just got pretty much any pick of their roamer, because it's very hard for a Nyx assassin to just contest the enemy roaming hero.
Yeah, or they were smart. They picked the Nyx thinking VG.J would think it was a core, so they would pick a Lifestealer so they can then counter it.
Interesting they get the Monkey King. It's going to be able to contest Magnus if he goes like greedy, falls back to his jungle to try. If you can zone him, he's going to have to go back Iron Talon jungle. That's where Monkey King can punish that, sap his XP, be a nuisance.
There it is. That's the Jug right there. We're talking about it. Mag Jug.
I mean, they've controlled the late game right now. DC Mag Jug Invoker. Like there's, I don't think you want to go late game like, against this lineup.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit like IG, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every time you see Mag Jug together, you're like, okay.
And I feel like VG.J want to go like the newbie approach, which is 5-man Deathbolt down towers, get an SF, get an offlaner that can just go for like an early mech, Vlads, whatever it may be, some initiator, and then just take objectives as fast as possible. Because the later this game goes, the worse you look.
Do they need to take that SF now? Or
Yeah,
it's going to be banned?
If you want it, yes.
If you want it. There's no... Like, this pick and the last pick doesn't really mean anything.
Ooh, a return for the Centaur. Not favoured here, but was massively favoured at DAC.
So that's one of our OTKs.
Yeah.
Special heroes. So the offlaners busting out their signature heroes here. But yeah.
So do we see the SF ban now? Did DC just get rid of it?
You might not really care too much about it. Like, their late game doesn't become stronger with the Shadow Fiend. But maybe it could become stronger with, let's say, Storm Spirit. Even though they have a Nyx assassin, he can buy Lincolns, he can buy BKB, and you have like another way to get a bomb, and they don't really have that many stuns.
It's also like a mag support, Nick, so you've got a bigger window where you can farm before the like Vendetta even comes up too.
Right. But right now with the Shadow Fiend, I can't really imagine it really carrying them. It could be their pick, but Wouldn't say it's favorable.
There's quite a few options for Dubu here,
Yeah.
depending on who plays the
And
next. You'd imagine
considering-
that's a 4, is it?
Sorry, what? Dubu?
Is that yeah, is Dubu or Demon going to play the Knicks?
Dubu plays the roamers, but he plays a 5.
Yeah.
And Demon will just play the 4 on whatever hero that.
So he has a few options here. He's got Earth Spirit, there's Ogre, Venge, Slaughter. There's plenty of options for Dubu. It's going to be a tough ban for VG.J.
So they do ban the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah.
And like for the VG.J, whatever they pick in the centaur spot or the last pick, it doesn't really matter what order you take it in. It's just a matter of whether you think the enemy will ban it or not. So considering that the Shadow Fiend, they didn't take it there, most likely they didn't want it, since centaur is like not really a pick that is
or perhaps they didn't know what they wanted from it, because obviously there's something they want, but they didn't pick it. So.
Sure, they could buy time, I guess.
Okay, so they ban out the Crystal Maiden, which is interesting.
Lina, okay.
Huh.
Right. And they pretty much had already decided that. That was an insta-pick. So does Dubu go for an Earth Spirit here?
I think with the Knicks, it's maybe a bit weak. Like, you can't secure your safe lane too well.
What would you prefer?
Ooh.
Versus centaur?
I think
See, this is the weird part, right? When Demon is not playing Warlock, they get really confused as to what hero they should pick for him. And now they've come down all the way to the last pick, and they're still not sure. So he's played like Dazzle, Lich. Oh,
Dubu, you
that's
mean?
not. No, Demon.
Demon, yeah.
I don't
So
mind
you
the
imagine
Venge.
Demon.
Okay, there's Venge.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I was going to say, so Demon plays the Knicks,
Okay, so Demon will play the
and
next hero
Dubu
then.
plays the Venge.
Yeah.
The Venge is just, it's a good save. Help out your Invoker, help out someone who gets caught by a bomb. It's a Solar Crest building hero. Like,
Yep.
I think this is just a pretty safe pick. Amps up all the physical damage. Pretty stable, like 5 position support.
Okay, predictions. You're 4 for 4 today, Mr. Chair number 4, which is usually cursed.
Yeah.
You're bucking the trend.
I think DC have got something ready. With they're going for the safe standard heroes. They've got the Mag Jug, and I think DC's got a really good draft for game 2.
On the verge of being eliminated, bring out the big guns.
We've also all seen 3-game series, so there's a trend here. I'm gonna stick with it.
That's true.
It's gonna be a long day, Paul.
Indeed.
3-game series.
Yes, we're only halfway through the day or something. DC for gods. Ben?
Don't tell me my record, please.
Okay.
I'm going with DC. I think they have more team fight this time, and they can actually fight 5-on-5 against VG.J past 30 minutes, which is definitely going to come to.
All right, 2 for DC.
I'm going to go with VG.J. I think it's very hard for DC to maneuver in fights, whereas VG.J, they have Stampede, they have Monkey giving vision.
You're going to go with VG.J?
Yeah.
Okay. Split decision from our judges here on the panel for our second game as we head into it. It's VG.J on the verge of making the quarterfinals, or can DC level things up? Let's head back to LD and Purge.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the National Palace of the Arts. We are live from Kiev at the Major. Elimination Day 1 has begun well underway now. Kevin, as DC look to stave off that threat, force this series. Making a really good run, so I guess that bodes well potentially. Is they're going to make the invasion play here, looking for FY, but it looks like Vici might be trying to punish this.
Yeah, they're sticking around here. RTK, really good frontliner here.
Oh, great stun by Demon. Could have been an easy first blood, but now Mason able to scurry away.
This could be a further chase now. Okay.
There's the vent stun. FY still pursuing as he delivers one of the longest range melee attacks overseas from Monkey King, but they do end up securing their jungle.
So he did grab Jingu Mastery at level 1. This could change FY's game a bit, but it kind of looks like VG.J was planning to go aggro try here. No, swinging towards the mid lane for half time.
holding that courier quite far back as the Monkey King sneaks in. Just a little, nothing to see here, folks.
Oh, he sees it. There is a ping, though, from Abed. He knows where the Monkey King is. I don't think it's going to get to Abed anytime soon. In the meantime, aggro dual lane, Centaur plus Warlock. This kind of seems to be a bit of the hero the last couple days, though. It's Warlock comboed with a tanky offlaner. Centaur Warrunner has fallen off and picking a lot. Used to be top pick, but it's making a comeback here with the heals.
Seems the locals may have begun imbibing as they start cheering for teams not competing in the match, but a slow and calm opening initially as we see Demon wrapping around. Maybe threatening to go on RTK here. Could bring in Dubu and have some first blood potential, but Fenrir there to scout it out as he's going to get caught out in a pretty awkward position. Stun number 1, stun number 2. Mason taking the long way around. He's going to start spinning. Fenrir almost walking into it, but actually able to juke away. The Centaur just body blocked Mason for a moment, so he uses that early Blade Fury, which does take about half his mana away, but will at least force the Warlock back for the time being. Demon's trying to chase him, has the boots advantage, has the stun, can maybe threaten for a kill here, but there's still Tango regen combined with the Shadow Word. Demon really wants this kill. He wants to give his team a strong start, but Fenrir is just a bit too tanky.
Yeah, I think it's completely worth it for him. There's almost no pressure for him having boots. Mason played that perfectly. He spun early to stop the Centaur stun, but ROTK with the body blocks reacted to that perfectly to save the Warlock there. Not too much pressure from FY just yet here. Abed's still doing, actually he's doing terrible. 1 and 2. That's not good.
That is a real bad start. Freeze currently 11 and 11. 22 total last hits in this lane.
This reminds me a little bit of when they picked Abed the Alchemist in the mid lane. It was an Alchemist versus a TA. Not a good matchup. This one is a little better for Invoker at least, but Freeze is wrecking right now.
Yeah, look at the pressure he gets, and there's still no points in Quas for Abed, so every bit of damage is just brutal to have to deal with as he'll drop his second to last Tango. Trying to regen back up, but he's just getting completely bullied, and actually has to be careful not to drop into slave kill range with Freeze constantly peppering him, even went for the double null tally for the extra lane dominance, so Freeze off to a fantastic start here mid, and doing it without really any help currently. I guess worth mentioning, you always have to be careful about FY potentially showing up mid, and that may be affecting Abed's ability to last hit here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was watching his courier in the early game, worried about last hitting that way. He did try for like a Sunstrike right-click kill on the range creep early, and I did see he missed it, so that I'm sure cost him a little bit as well. But him grabbing the Wex is most likely because he wants Alacrity here. It's the only way he can be competitive with Alina, at least right now, considering her early last hits.
Of course, looking at DC, great comeback lineup as they have Empower, they have a melee carry to use it, they have a support in the Venge that scales very well, and of course Invoker with Sunstrike can definitely get back in the game should the Nyx be able to set up some tanks, but it's a support Nyx, so those rotations aren't going to be coming particularly early.
The fast 3 at 6 is going to be so much better for DC, especially because Venge is not really the best roaming hero. Has some mana problems, not the best at bullying heroes. It's going to take Nyx setting up those Sunstrike kills.
FY looking to set up here in the mid lane. DP from Free to Trade might have been spotted.
They saw them grab the rune, that's why. The DD disappeared, the Observer Ward was there, and now they know there's a smoke.
Excellent. Bit of waste of time as we're going to see the scan connecting to Demon and Dubu. Still trying to figure out where to go. The scan's still showing. Heroes are in the neighborhood, so it's going to play this one safe. In fact, Freeze trying to reveal the smoke and does manage to clip Dubu, forcing him away. They did get a ward down on the high ground, so that vision perhaps will help stabilize this mid lane for Abed, but Abed really struggling early. CS game is on point for VG Gaming. They've got 3 in the top 4. Now the jump onto the top lane. Boba getting caught out here on the Magnus. Can they chase him down? They've already committed the open wound. They've got the phase boots. Boba turning and trying for the Quelling Blade, but the first blood does go the way of Vici. Quick, decisive kill.
They do kill Freeze though on the mid lane. I didn't see how they wrapped around. They must have just ran through the jungle. Maybe it was Freeze feeling really safe because he did reveal them, but that's absolutely a big kill here.
Yeah, he revealed one, I think by that point. Demon's
Dubu, I believe.
Smoke might have worn off, but it also is nighttime, so you don't have the best vision.
Yeah, there's actually way better wards around the mid lane for the Radiant team. The Dire team, it spots near the rune spot where they might wrap around and gank the Warlock or the Centaur. Definitely a big target would be Warlock, but ultimately, because of that ward, Freeze ends up getting caught instead. going to help Albert catch up a lot in the mid lane. He's actually still about 500 gold behind. Pretty big, but Invoker's a farmer. He may get there.
DC looking to set up here, and RTK going to walk right into it, but continue to chase. They are going to get the bench stun. Long range lob from Dubu. Sunstrike, Blade Fury, and the stun from the Nyx isn't enough for the kill. Mason secures it, as he was still spinning, able to dodge that Centaur stun with ease. So this is a much needed kill for their team as Abed starts to crawl his way back into the game. I guess now with things a bit slowed down, though as I say that, Freeze moving in mid. Only level 5, he's not really that close to the Laguna, so you're going to need some help if he wants to go for the skill.
Yeah, it'd be a hard kill. It's a little unfortunate for him, but did you take a look at Jug? This is the least cosmetic items I've literally ever seen on a Juggernaut. It's like very, very important, right? It's got little bracer things, no Arcana.
I mean, this is the legendary Mason, and he's just going classic Mason.
Just doesn't care.
Pre-Arcana era. Old school.
New stuff. Demon's still hanging out around the mid lane, ready for setup here. Will they get the D-ward? Ooh, he's going to get the sentry too. That's huge, actually.
Yeah, now to be fair, I guess it's not like the Nyx can really exploit the lack of a sentry, as he's not close to Vendetta, but still a nice 2 for the price 1, and ensures their ops will be uncontested as Squid lurks near the bottom lane, but Jug not a particularly easy kill. And Dubu sitting very far back here, so overall thoughts, Kevin, as we start to approach the tail end of the laning stage here. As I say that, they're going to make the move on Mason, but it's really not a killable target unless you get perfect chain stuff. And even then, I think it's still unlikely.
I think they get him pretty close with the double edge, as well as the extra 100 damage from Primal Spring. They would have gotten him kind of close, especially with some Orb of Venom hits. It's a good execution, but it doesn't work out. It does cost him a lot of mana, though, so I mean, ROTK's having a great lane. That part's pretty obvious here. Almost hitting level 6 while kind of in dual lane experience. So I would say as a whole, Vici is definitely winning the game right now.
Yeah, and certainly the graphs reflected already up 1,500 gold with only a 1 kill advantage. We are going to see
another aggressive ward
trying to claw their way back into it. RTK continue to leech and now does have access to Stampede, so makes it much harder to find those Sunstrike pickoffs for a hero who might get caught out of position, but needs the mana to activate it. We're going to give the mid lane to FY temporarily, as he's already hit 4 and change. Breeze coming back, does have the Laguna now. Might see a go on Abed sometime soon. He'll start to work his way towards the Midas. Is catching up decently on the Invoker at 26 CS, but still not a great start overall.
And the supports on DC's side are still having a little trouble finding some action. They got the D-ward mid, they got the other Lina kill, but they've been looking for kills and not doing that much else. They'll give another shot at that right now. Smoke's popped.
All right. Who will they find? Dubu backing up Abed in the mid lane, and meanwhile, FY in position to reveal that smoke should they head back. They're going to plunge into the jungle here. Breeze in a good position. They go for the wave of Terror. They don't have the follow, but now the TP rotation is going to come in. They did commit the Stampede, but that actually allows them to set up on a Demon. Rage from Aggressive, mauling away at the Nyx Assassin. Just a couple more auto attacks. Will commit the Carapace for this. The Dragon Slave not timed right. Won't be enough for the kill there, but Aggressive able to get that one last swipe, bring him down.
Pretty much perfect positioning there by Freeze when doing the ancients there. They go high ground almost instantly, their smoke breaks, and those guys are not going to be as fast as Alina, who's got Fiery Soul, so very difficult for them to initiate and do the chain stun. But if they would have gotten the first stun off, absolutely kill possibility with the Sunstrike. So it was kind of a good attempt for DC, maybe not the right path to take, maybe a difficult gank to get in the first place.
So DC, we are seeing Bulba go for the extra points in Empower, which has become like the de facto Magnus build as of late. Grabbed the Iron Talent earlier. Is going to be going for the Blink Dagger first. So I guess, Kevin, thoughts on how DC get their way back into this game? Is there something in particular they're waiting on? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, I think the Blink is absolutely an aspect of that. A lot of times we do see Midases picked up on Magnuses, and sometimes after Blink, sometimes before. So I think the Blink is a great way to start that. A lot of Magnuses have been really crucial for that. RP the good hero, skewer them to you, get the Omni Slash off. That's a kill on a tower usually. So I think that's what they're aiming for. Little pressure pushes like this are really effective as well. These two supports are both very good pre-6, so good. Mason getting a little low though.
A little scary as the jump comes in. Monkey King pouncing together with Aggressive on the Demon. Looking for the Carapace timing here. Aggressive able to finish him off though. Gets the kill. And The rest of the team forced to retreat, so tower still held bottom lane. While Abed is getting a little me time, working towards the Midas. Pretty close at that. Still, in general, it does feel like Vici Gaming are a lot more confident in their movements around the map.
Yeah, all these lifestealer rotations have been so effective. If it was any other hero, it would be difficult to kill the next assassin. But using Rage, stopping the Spike Carapace reflection, it's making Demon a target, which is good, but he's consistently getting killed because of it. So DC's making their opponents move, but it's not providing good trades for them.
Here comes the Fenrir hate parade as 4 heroes make the move towards this top lane. They're going to drop a ward behind the tower. Not sure if we got a glimpse of Fenrir. I think he was already behind the trees, but reinforcements start to arrive. See FY come in, already has the Wukong's command available. The Rock isn't quite ready yet, and he's going to get scouted by Dubu. So he's able to jump a little bit farther away. They begin to cut this wave. No sign of a full defense of this tower. Just Abed sitting mid, but as I say that, reinforcements coming in. RTK is going to be the first man in. Has the hood already. Omni Slash doesn't care about that Sunstrike. Won't too much either. RTK able to just barely squirm away. Gets the heal and will end up retreating successfully. So pretty big commitment there. Not able to find the kill. Not able to quite find the tower, as Freeze will deny it. DC, well, at least they don't lose anything of their own, but still not really finding it.
I think that one was a lot better. Though. It's very similar to what we just saw on the bot tower, but despite the deny, definitely a great kill, or a great pressure. Forced so many heroes to rotate. They didn't lose anybody. The Monkey King ultimate was maybe the biggest loss there. It's 130 seconds now at level 1. And Boba was able to instantly skewer him outside of the range. So definitely a good advantage to have in the next couple engagements. And now, actually, RTK, he's the one that's sitting top, because it's kind of dangerous anyways for anyone else to sit up here. So there is some map pressure opened up. Basically, the is equal now, which I think kind of favors DC a lot, just because Abed can hit Ancients, doesn't have to worry about pressure towards him, and also the Jug with Empower. There's more jungle camps to be. So I think this is okay for DC right now.
Not to mention, it opens up some windows for Demon to find ganks, and he is very close to Vendetta here, about to hit level 6. So
definitely late, by all means. Coma Knowledge is purchasable, but he's opting not to bother. He's going to hit 6 here, just 2-3 creeps maybe.
Gotta get that Midas.
Even if it's 150 gold fast. I don't agree with that at all. I think the faster with 6, the better. Like, maybe should have bought this earlier than this. Hoping for a TP from an ally, is asking. Seeing if there's maybe an option.
Do a Sunstrike here as well. Might be able to find the kill just with that alone. FY goes splat. And with that, Demon gets that much closer to that Midas.
A little bit of patience for that one, but ultimately, huge threat for VG.J. All of their heroes except for maybe the Centaur. Got to be worried about this, especially Warlock. Monkey King's a big deal. Even Lina is a big threat until she gets her Yules.
Oh, Tubu very close to getting picked off here as he dropped an Ops. Is going to be dewarded almost immediately, but was able to TP out before that Centaur stomp came in.
This is such a crucial time to have Observer Wards up as well, because right when all the ganks will come, all the pressure, still got to keep an eye on Nyx though, since he will be in Invis most of the time, but can't get those dewarded.
Next steps here for the respective teams, Kevin. We are pretty close to a Magnus Blink. I believe Centaur Blink also not that far off, and Freeze about to get a Yules as we see VG smoke up.
Yeah, the Yules is huge for Freeze because it's going to stop any of those Sunstrike setups. That'll be a big deal though. VG.J, all the ultimates are ready. Dubu breaks the smoke though.
Demon comes in, could set up for a good stun here on multiple heroes, but actually he is going to get caught out. Sentry was dropped, but he just scurries a bit to the left, so no follow-up threat of killing the Nyx.
With the D-ward now, he can't even pressure forward, although maybe he'll get a spot on the one. He does have a Calling Blade as well, so he could stun if he's confident.
RTK with the Stampede available as well. See Mason TP away, and that just frees up this mid-tower. RTK beginning to tank it as the 3 points of return to bring it down that much quicker. And FY covers the backside, so it's only Demon who can even stick around, but his Vendetta is about to wear off. Demon's about to get caught. And the stun onto the Nyx, lifesteal I should say, but now the pounce comes through. Monkey King moving forward, they get the stun, good timing on the Carapace, but simply does not matter when a Rage lifestealer is mauling you. So down he goes. All of this right before Bulba is able to grab his Blink. Is now online, but with that tower falling, a lot of room for VG Gaming J to roam in the upcoming 5 to 10 minutes.
And we haven't even really seen like a lifestealer bomb yet. Just going to continue being a threat now, especially with the Blink on the Centaur. So DC is going to move together a bit. They'll respawn the next TPM on in. He's got his ulti as well, so he'll get there fast, but they got to start winning fights soon. I feel like VG.J's pressuring towers and controlling the map a whole lot better.
Kind of a reversal of game one where it was early VG.J playing very passively. Dubu going to get caught out here on the top lane. Quick jump into a Centaur stomp. Follow-ups there from Aggressive. Another kill for this very active squad. You're going to see a Sunstrike though, and Abed with Demon continue to be the tandem getting things done for DC. We'll find that kill on the south side.
That'll make up for things a little bit, but you know, if Demon wasn't dead, it wouldn't have been Dubu getting initiated on. It would have been Demon scouting to spot the Centaur. So their push getting completely shut down there was another reaction of Demon's mistake on the mid lane. So things are adding up pretty quick. They got to keep pressuring. But it's so hard for them right now. Their gimmies are killing the split pushing Monkey King, who feels a little bit safe, but that's not going to win you the game by itself. You got to start killing the Lina, maybe the Warlock. You can maybe pray for a Lifestealer kill too, but good luck on that one.
Yeah, unless if they commit like RP or swap into Omni and there's nothing to infest, maybe, but it's, like you said, good luck. Things to really combine just right to find that opportunity.
Still a little surprised they did go for Magnus though. It's a hero that they barely touched during the group stage actually. I remember Conrad even remarked at one point that it was a hero they just ignored. Playing like Legion Commander, different offlane heroes for both instead. And compared to other mags, we haven't seen an RP kill yet. And almost every other mag player I've seen has been getting RP kills from the moment he hit 6. Still nothing from him.
And they definitely have like the setup for it and the follow-up with the bench swap to initiate now online. Demon's gonna get caught out here at the North River. Stampede coming through, does match. Carapace gets the 2 heroes stun into the Roche pit, trying to TP away, going for the suicide instead. Yeah, Roche will take him down, so a nice save by Demon. Ends up falling, but doesn't end up giving up the kill.
Yeah, 30 seconds dead. Stampede's on cooldown for 74. It was all right, considering. Could have been another death here. Now, Monkey King's just been doing such a good job getting vision, though. Great aggressive wards, kind of weird spotting where the heroes are, whether or not they're sitting behind the Juggernaut. It's putting him in a good spot, and maybe one of the rare times we don't see a Jug way ahead of his opponents due to Empower. So farming well though, getting pretty close to Lifestealer considering no Midas.
The Lifestealer have been doing a little bit more through the actual combat against enemy heroes. Start to clear an Ancient stack here. Freeze coming in for the assist. Ancient's now down. Wondering when Vici goes for that next round of aggression.
I mean, they might as well do it sooner. Lifestealer looks so farmed compared to Juggernaut. Juggernaut's probably just about a man. Empower will make up for a lot of this disadvantage, but the Sange, Midas, Armlet, Lifestealer's going to kill all these heroes really fast. None of them really have that much armor. In fact, like Invoker, for example, this guy's going to get shredded by a Lifestealer if he finds him. He's got Exo.
And, you know, speaking of the need to get aggressive here, Abed has quietly gotten himself back into relevance and finds himself with an Ags complete, 3rd in net worth as Vici Gaming make their move. They've got the initiation potential here from RTK. Who's he going to get? He gets caught by the wave of terror. He runs right into a tornado. Good reaction play by Abed.
Oh,
now the RP. That's on 2, but the counterplay comes through from Fenrir, dropping the rock, blocking Bulba in place. Now forced to turn tail and run. They'll lose Dubu. Can they get out cleanly from there? Mason has the Omni, eats the Laguna, does go down. Tasered from behind as Freeze halts in his tracks. Now the Sunstrike on top of where his corpse is about to lie. Abed gets put feet under by Aggressive. 3 down in the end. He got the 2-hero RP, but the Warlock ult was the trump card.
Yeah, I don't think he had anything like Meteor ready. If it was either way. Tornado reaction, the wave of terror to interrupt the blink for Centaur, it made the fight so much better for him, but the Golem did just enough to disable their ability to continue pressuring. And RP really was kind of just felt life-saving, not so much it's time to fight. But DC doesn't get what they want out of that one, losing 3 heroes and the important Invoker. That's not good.
I believe the 2 heroes they caught in the RP were what, the Lifestealer and the Centaur, so like it's not like these are easy kills by any means. Like Lifestealer with Armlet over 2k HP, lots of armor. RTK has the hood, so you know, it's RP into what? It's kind of the question.
And it's perfect for Lina as well. He does not want to get engaged on. Maybe another Monkey King kill.
FY, putting on his Nikes, going for the juke into the trees, and then no, Steven says. Good stun, follow-ups there. Another Monkey King death, but it really does feel, Kevin, like a space created overall kind of game for the Monkey King. Yeah, he's died a couple of times, but the team's farming freely. He's getting good wards down in their territory, and he's still up there as far as net worth goes. Meanwhile, you've got Dubu running around on 800 net worth, and he's at 36.
Yeah, and the hard part is, as well, is that there's so many heroes on VG Gaming that can find engagements, mostly the Centaur, but it's been a bit tough for Dubu to just do what he should be, which is swap out a hero that maybe gets initiated on. And even then, it's what are you stopping? You're stopping Centaur stun, maybe Infernal Golem. It's not like you're removing Magnus RP, for example, like a big team fight ability that's game-changing if you counter it. So it's difficult for DC to frame these fights in a way that gives them an advantage, and even if they do, I'm not sure if they have the best counters.
So I'm curious for your thoughts here on the Lina pick from Freeze and the way he's itemizing. Went back for BOTs, now Bloodstone in the quick buy. Do you like the Lina build? Do you see Freeze going pretty late with this hero?
He had to get the Yules this game. It was too important not to, because Omni Slash would kill him, a stun into Sunstrike would kill him. He needed the Yules to protect himself from those two things. So basically he's going standard now. And the BOTs on top of that, maybe to try to turn around some pressure ganks that happen in various places. The extra movement speed is potentially really good against heroes like Jug, maybe even Magnus as well. So the only thing I don't fully understand maybe is the BOTs, but I think the Yules are super justified this game.
I guess it's quite nice with you have like Stampede, you have BOTs and Lina, and maybe Infesting Lifestealer, so turnaround potential on ganks is a bit deceptive for VG.
He's basically an IO, right? Jump in me, Lifestealer, we're going over there.
A very tanky and potent IO, but yes, definitely.
Did go the Light Strike Ray damage as well. Kind of interesting considering the old Scepter, but I like it. He'll be able to basically get free buybacks this game a couple times.
Oh, very quick to respawn. Freeze moves into the road pit, is combined with aggressive. Going back for the Bed Slater now. Sunstrike will scout this out, but if the follow-up comes, that is another question. They are TPing into an Observer Ward. Demon showing himself.
Centaur can't go though, he's being hit by Roach. This is going to be Monkey, he can stop him maybe.
Oh, he went for the stun, but he only hit a Rage Lifestealer, so Aggressive is going to get the Aegis for free. Now DC, having been scouted, might want to back away.
Yeah, their tempo is definitely off here. They showing up to a Roche like that late is almost much worse than just not going at all, to be honest. Because it barely slowed down VG Gaming at all. They still get the Aegis, and that's a bunch of TPs, movement. They know exactly where DC is. Their ward spotted out 2-3 of them. In the next 45 seconds or so for VG's easy. They'll just wait till they're full healed. Group is 5 and start pressuring those tier 2 towers.
And again, that's all due to the Monkey King and Radiance Award. Set it up, so not something you'll see on the scoreboard, but something that's why still creates for his team. As Demon now moving through this dire jungle. He actually walks past a minefield of Sentry Wards and into a dust. The stomp is there. Follow-up coming through. Aggressive. Rage cooling down, trying to wait for the right opening. Demon throws out a wild stun. But it's a swing and a miss of a gank. Maybe forcing it too much now, Kevin. And he's just desperate to set up these kills, but gets punished.
Yeah, this is the first one the first kind of pressuring he did without Monkey King being in a aggressive pushing position. So even anticipates the ward on the high ground, but it's not actually what happened. Just all these sentries are very smart by VG Gaming. This is where the Nyx is going to go looking for cores, because that is the safest place for VG Gaming's heroes to farm.
It's like the Great Wall of Sentries, really.
Yeah. You've
Got to go like all the way into the top lane, and then you're just walking near the tower where backup can come in anyway. So.
It's a lot of gold by all means, but if you're winning like this and you can continue pickoffs and making sure they don't get pickoffs when you're winning with net worth, that continues your lead, helps you close it out.
And as we talk a lot of here, Freeze maybe getting caught by Abed, is on the hunt, throwing out the tornado, not going to connect. So we will see Freeze back away, but we talk a lot about the Nyx getting caught, and again, this goes back to your point, like we just haven't seen much out of Bulba this game as far as ganks go. The 1 RP top, but actually end up getting punished. Now Mason trying to TP away. Dubu is there, has the swap available if it's required. Now stampeding through. He really wants this kill. Swapping mid-stampede, so still able to get on top of him is RTK. Now the follow-up coming through, the Boundless Strike. Laguna, they throw the kitchen sink at Mason, and it is enough to take down the big man. Now Freeze looking for Dubu here in the trees. Finds him with the Yules, throws him up in the air, drops him back down into the stun.
Waits for the Bloodstone. I'll take one more charge, thank you. Up to 13 now.
Have a good day, sir.
Yeah. Still no big RPs. Hard for DC to find the fight, and they just look kind of broken after last game.
And see, that was the question about this team, was how would they perform under pressure as a squad? You know, we've seen great individual performances from most of these players at the past Valve events, but not as a 5-man team. And VG Gaming showing backbone here as They lead 13-5, up by about 12, maybe 13,000 gold. Quickly making work with this tier 2 top. They'll bring that down too. Gonna reset, just to be reclaimed in 2 minutes, but I believe about to get the Desolator here on aggressive. Just needs the recipe, it looks like. So another power spike coming for this squad. To go with that, RTK has picked up a Reaver. So Bloodstone already, as you mentioned, online. Shadowblade coming for Freeze. All the cores are farming. The Monkey King's the only remotely poor hero, and even he's pretty close to a Basher, Kevin. Vici Gaming are not only winning now, but itemizing so that their armory can just let them win like the next 15-20 minutes with ease.
And I don't see that same kind of strength out of DC. They still have Midas on Nyx Assassins, hoping to find a free Monkey King pushing out the top lane, so they're using the illusions to sort of bait that by pushing, but it's so tough for them to find these kills. Even if Demon walks into freeze here, I don't see that working out so hot for them either.
Yeah, remember, you walk into him, you have to worry about the stampedes. You have to get a clean kill, completely chainstun him, or he's likely to get away.
They just all look so safe on VG. Look, they're actually spread 5 across the map, taking whatever they want, continuously putting wards in the place where DC is going to have to cross to actually gap close them. And honestly, even if DC uses a lot of smokes right now to get some of these kills, if it's not more than 1, I don't even know if it's worth it. Because on this trajectory, VG Gaming is going to get so far ahead that DC will really need smokes at some point to win major team fights.
Well, these Infest Bombs just got a whole lot scarier. Now, you don't see her coming, but Freeze could well be the vehicle delivering that lifestealer payload. Probably not into a team fight, but certainly into a pick-off.
And hard as well for DC to get the engagements. Even sometimes being in this for half a second cancels a swap or disjoints a stun or gets you just a little bit of distance between you and your opponents.
Have we only seen the 1 RP this game from Bulba?
That's the only one we've seen. Great RP, but maybe needed more. Sentry down does spot Freeze very briefly here. Gonna make him unconfident.
Dubu made a boo-boo. He gets punished for it. VG Gaming catch him out, and now perhaps transition into a push, though. The only tier 2 up is the bottom. Abed's going to push that lane out as he works towards the Octarine, but at this point, if you're DC, what is the game plan? Is it just play the long con and just try to take it ultra late, just looking to farm on, you know, Mag, Jug, and a split pushy Invoker, or do you try to find a fight?
I think they might be biding some of their time. Obviously, they'd love to get a free pick-off or something like that. Yeah, they're just constantly hunting for Lina. They did this on the top lane as well. Sentry down, wait to see if Lina goes but maybe another hero if they also have Invis. Try to get that kill. And with that, they could actually control the map a bit. But if Lina doesn't actually walk into one of those, and she may soon, wait until Roche, take another fight then, try to take the Aegis, use that for advantage.
Now they did see Freeze here as he scoots right past an Observer Ward. Demon is going to commit for this, but remember, there is Stampede ready. And he's safely parked behind the tower. In fact, the rotation's coming. FY will grab an Invis Root. Want to pounce on Freeze. Could end up being a trap. They're going to get the stun. Follow-ups there. Meatball gets dropped. They get the kill quick, and now they need to get out just as quick. Aggressive coming in. Not able to finish him off in time. They do scatter. Retreat successfully, but Abed getting clipped on the way out. FY there, leaping forward, getting the balance strike. It is a good tornado. Will he be able to get out? He will! Sick play by Abed. Makes it back towards safety, so both of DC escape, and they waste some much-needed VG time.
I don't know if I've ever seen a tornado TP on 3 heroes. That was incredible.
Under pressure, a potential elimination game, and a youngster, to put it mildly. Abed, still not at the age of majority, but he was cool as a cucumber there.
And that kill alone gave them a big gold advantage, at least helped make up some of the stuff that VG Gaming has been attaining this whole game. Helping Demon, he's got his Blink Dagger now. A very hopeful queue up of the Ags on him. But VG Gaming pushing the bot lane out. They'll probably take this tier 2 tower, then it's about Roche time, and then the game changes again. That'll be the next place the fight happens. With the ward advantage that VG Gaming currently has, and far more towers nearby, might be hard for DC to take it. But if they can, they could turn this game around. All they need is a big team fight, maybe a couple more crucial ganks. They're going to spot the Lina again. Maybe they can play around this.
Freeze does have the Yule Scepter, so they kind of need to stun him into the Omni, time it properly, and they do just that. DC striking again. Some clutch kills here when they desperately need them. These little traps are paying off, and I almost wonder, like, do we have to see a gem commitment VG, or either that, or do we just see Lina no longer going for those solo ganks?
Yeah, I mean, those 2 deaths in a row really changed the tempo a lot. DC's got to feel more confident. In fact, 5 bloodstone charges on Lina. She's still dead for 30 seconds when she goes down. And Invoker's at the same net worth now. He's almost got his Octarine. Tornadoes all over the place.
Well, considering how many he hit with that one, where he was completely under pressure, I bet gonna pull out a Sunstrike here.
It's a heat-seeking tornado. I think that actually works instead.
In Abed's hands, it certainly does. Yeah, and very close now to the Octarine. Rolled away, so they're gonna make their move on top. Demon getting caught out here, blinking away, going for the TP out. Don't tell me Demon gets out too. No, stomp from RTK. Again, pretty close to escaping, but this time he will fall.
That was super well done there. Very almost made it. Does force VG Gaming to go from their very defensive farm neutral kill me, but in the meantime, the Waits are actually in a really good spot. It's been a while since DC felt like they had some space on the map, but they're all out on the map, farming, getting last hits, trying to catch up. Basher for Jug is his next item. That could be huge, actually, especially against heroes like Lina. I mean, he's had a lot of backup to get the kills in the last engagement, but if he can also get a lucky bash off at the crucial time to prevent the Yules, could matter against a lot of these heroes. Same with Lifesteal. The way to control him would be actually great. If you can hit him, if you can damage him without him.
A lot of ifs there. But yeah, I was wondering what Vici mid-twin jam and FY does exactly that now, so perhaps this will be their tool, not only to sniff out some of these traps and get rid of at least all the sentry wards that have been littering the map, but also maybe catch Demon when he's on the gank. Could be a big pickup. Let's see.
Yeah, that's another question. Is he going to see it, or is it just going to get him a kill right off the bat?
Let's find out. Boba on the move, bottom lane, smoke, hasted, has the Shadow Blade, all the mobility, and the one I think he actually walked at the tower range there. The ping came out, and immediately they run away. So either saw him or just detected it. Aggressive walks on the high ground, has the Aegis, Blink Stun is there. Will deal with those illusions, but Vici wasting no time in starting to threaten high ground here.
That was pretty good defense right now. I mean, Demon's level 14, so his mana worth actually maxed out. That's so significant right now because he actually skipped his talent tree. Very uncommon, but because of it, they get to mana burn like with a 4-second cooldown 7 to 12. A little bit of pressure on him. He's completely fine. Abed also did take the tier 2 tower right before that mid pressure, so DC, they're scratching back up into this one, I think.
Yeah, DC definitely ramping up as Abed already complete the Octarine, now building towards a much-needed BKB. There is a Lina Eggs in the game, but aside from that, lots of things that he would love to stop, I guess, most notably that Centaur Stomp follow-up to help him reset and get into a better position.
Centaur is definitely a big threat. Even like Boundless Strike could be huge. As long as he keeps himself out of the Monkey King ultimate, then he probably won't be stunned too many times. He may get 3-shot by the lifesteal. That's definitely the biggest threat on the map right now. That guy's going to kill people no matter what their stun or magic immune situation is.
Yeah, they really want to be able to kite him, and once the rage is down, he's quite easily dealt with, should like at least a decent number of their heroes be alive. But with an Aegis, you're definitely not killing him early in the fight, so gotta just try and avoid him as much as possible.
With that said, the mana drain is a huge aspect of this. They've got Diffusal Blade Manta on Jug, and they've got the Nyx Assassin as well. Mana drain him, he's got no open wounds, he's got no rage. It's going to be a whole lot easier to kite this guy. They just can't get jumped on, lose somebody right at the start of the fight. And really the juiciest target to go for is definitely Invoker. Lots of HP, but no arm. This guy's going to die real fast to this boss.
Yeah, he will. But Abed has done quite a good job at not getting caught at all this game, really. 5-1-1. And he's been pressuring quite a bit, finding the kills, flip pushing. Remember, this was a guy who started the game, what was it, 1-2 in CS against an 11-11 Lina. There was a Monkey King trying to snipe his courier. Basically, he was under a full-fledged assault in the mid lane, but he's the second most farmed in the game. He hasn't let that throw him off his game too much, and now pulling his way back into it with VG Gaming. Went for the smoke earlier on the north side of the Radiant Woods, didn't find anything, dropped a ward though, and to pressure these lanes, but Abed just back to his old tricks, pushing out bottom, nearly has a BKB, and showing no signs of letting off the gas pedal here as he tries to avoid that difficult fight that gets the Aegis mid lane, but Aggressive wants to force it. He rages pretty early, and he just jumps in, starts hitting the tower. He gets eyes on Demon, looks for the quick kill, he'll munch him down. Big grab doesn't survive back, might have to use it. Now, look for the turn as Abed does a decent amount of work here on RTK, gets skewered out of the way, has no mana available. Meanwhile, on the backside, Mason comes in, decapitates the Warlock before he's able to drop the Golem, and now they can move back in, maybe onto RTK, but he's so damn tanky, has the Shiva's armor, has the extra HP from the Heart of Taras. He survives an absolute barrage and still aggressive, also left standing. They're able to finish off Demon. That's a dieback for him. Out of the fight for 50 seconds. A clutch player at this last TI, but under the gun here as they are about to lose the racks. Oh no! Bulba's turned to whip! A double disaster and double trouble for DC. Can Abed save the day up against the absolute hardest fight of his career, dare I say it, as they continue to work on these racks. They're going to bring down the melee mid. That's a full lane caved in by VG. They didn't even get to use a Warlock ult that fight, Kevin, and I don't think they're going to back here. They know there's no Nyx for 20. They head right towards top.
Mank does have buyback, but no ultimate, which kind of removes a whole lot of advantage there. And almost every single time that aggressive uses Rage, a lot of bad stuff happens with DC's side, whether it's buildings or heroes.
Bulba, can he at least get like a decent blink skewer? I don't know who you go for, maybe the Lina, but he's got to find some opening. As looks like they will end up backing. They're content with the first lane, so the base now very open. Shrine's likely to fall momentarily, as we do see that Vici Gaming rotation. First the North Shrine, imagine the South soon to follow, but map control certainly theirs, and I imagine just looking for that next good fight to try and take a second lane.
Yeah, I mean, after that advantage, especially with a dieback, I guess he did spend his time in the fountain at least, but VG Gaming, they're going to be able to control the map again. I mean, play it out safe. Look at the ward position again. They've got sentries everywhere. They've got observer wards everywhere. DC does not have good control of this game anymore.
A very revitalized Vici Gaming, who you know, had a pretty big hot streak and looked like they might be the top team in China going into DAC. Then it was IG who kind of seized that mantle, has looked dominant since then. But Vici Gaming coming back not only into this series, but also into this tournament and potentially giving themselves a boost to a hopeful TI invite if they can keep this up.
I thought for sure you were going to say into our hearts. I felt it coming. You
and
didn't
then
go there.
and then I let you down.
No, it's okay. It's a little too safe. I would have felt good about it. Not now. Full time continues.
Of all the people to bring that up, Kevin, I didn't think it would be you.
Yeah, me neither. Is Vici Gaming changing me right now? So controlling the map again, pushing the lanes out, making sure they, even if they don't have wards in the right spot, their creeps will give the vision for them. And DC looking to do some baits here. Please, Gankar Invoker. This is the guy that's been.
He has been solo pushing a lot, but I don't think Vici Gaming care about the Invoker right now. They just kind of want to push in these lanes, find maybe the next, just wait for the next Roshan if they want to.
Yeah, I think VG Gaming's definitely gonna play it safe like this. I mean, with all the tier 3s gone, they still have to get the bot shrine, of course, but control the map. Do the easy thing, wait for the pick off. It keeps happening. A lot of times it's been Demon 0-9-6 this game, having a rough one. He set up a lot of kills as well. Never gets the last hit though. Abed always takes it. That jerk.
They are wrapping around though. He's a nice kid. Let's say. Flanking DC down to the bottom lane, looking for freeze, and they're going to get and the follow-up connection is there. Sunstrike ends him nice and early. Lina does have the buyback if needed. Does she want to commit it? Out for 30 seconds. Now the rock gets dropped. FY turning, fighting, has the Wukong's command, getting the bashes here. Chain stunning Mason down. That's a support Monkey King, but sure doesn't feel like it. Aggressive there with the follow-up, and now straight on to the tier 3. No buyback on Jug, no buyback on the Venge, so they're down to a 3v5 as Lina gets back into it. This could be the end for Digital Chaos as their hopes of a run at Kiev grow slimmer by the second.
Bot Rax is going to fall here. But with Jug 250 gold only off from his buyback, it guarantees the Rax falls almost instantly. They did pick up the Abyssal, which was super crucial to guarantee the Lina kill, but with no good follow-up, no good Omni Slash, the rest of VG Gaming just sat back. They just kill him. We'll wait till we're ready to get you.
Meanwhile, there's a 4,000 HP Centaur just running roughshod over their base. A Bulwark in the front line. They throw the Sunstrike. They throw everything at him. He doesn't care. He survives, lives to tell another tale. And aggressive now, just munching on Demon. Another death for him. The long range taser from Freeze. That's it, it looks like. Salt in the wound. And a final finishing blow as VG Gaming KO Digital Chaos, knock them out of the Kiev Major and advance themselves into the top 8.
VG Gaming. had a hard road in the group stage, only going 2-2, but they looked real good in this match, considering that DC looked like the impressive team during the groups. A lot of expectations for them to at least win their first match, but they fell short. It looked so good during game 1, big advantage. It was the reverse this game. Lots of lane disadvantages. They didn't find enough ganks in the early game, and then when they got in the late game period, they never got RPs, they never found openings.